All right, g'day, and welcome to Comics, mate. Your mates in comics from the land down under. I'm Dean James, and today I'm here with Michael T and Ali Sanguise. Say hello, guys. You're muted, Michael and Ali. You're both muted. Great
You
start.
told me to mute.
You told us to mute.
Not when the show's live. What?
It is a great start. We're ahead of the game, can't you tell?
Say hello. Say hello to the chat.
Hi, chat. We love you, chat. Hi, Mo. Hi, Jason. Hi, some
G'day,
person.
Nev.
Hi, Nefarious.
Neff was the first person here that I can see. I know Snafu and a couple others were here, but I can't remember who they were. But yeah, I can't see those chats anymore. So, Neff, you're officially the first one here. G'day, Jason. G'day, Chris. Good to see you, mate. Hail, Hiawatha. And Mo. Some person. And then it's just Mo and Jason Black and some person again. So, hello, guys. Welcome. G'day, Kiwi. Kiwi just showed up right as I stopped looking. But yeah, we got a pretty interesting show today. Like, this was we did something like this a really long time ago. It was like more than a year ago now, and it's been requested that we do it again ever since. But there was so many scripts that I couldn't ever decide what to actually pick. And so me and Ali just like yesterday or the day before went through them all and decided, like, all right, this is the one we're doing. All right, which I'm sure everybody here has heard of The Killing Joke. It's a very famous Batman book. You know, you guys have all read that before, right? You've all seen that? Yeah? Yeah?
I have not read it. I've seen parts of the movie, and then I've just read the script. Like, literally, I've never even opened the comic.
Oh, wow.
Never heard of it. What's it about?
It's about Batman and the Joker. And it ends on a... Like, it's famous for its ambiguous ending where Batman may or may not have actually murdered the Joker.
That's what it's famous for? I feel like it's famous for a lot of other things.
No,
it's the
famous
first time I've ever heard of the ending.
Well, it's also famous for tourist Joker in his Hawaiian shirt when he kicks in Barbara Gordon's door and cripples and grapes her. But that's neither here nor there. I don't even think.
Yes, some person is correct.
Robin dies too. Yeah.
The Killing Joke is why I have severe Robin anxiety. Like whenever I see Robin in anything and the Joker is nearby, I'm just like, well, we watched that Christmas one and I was nervous for that kid. I was nervous for Damien.
That was a kid's movie.
I know.
Batman. That's actually pretty good too. Go give that a watch.
It was super cute, but I was still so nervous. I was like, I'm really scared for this kid, dude. Something terrible's gonna happen to him. I know it.
Well,
but instead it was like Home Alone.
It was like Home Alone. It very much was like Home Alone, actually. But either way, Ali does hate clowns, yeah. But The Killing Joke is obviously a very famous book, and it was written by the mad wizard monk that is Alan Moore, who's,
wizard.
He famously wrote. He's just a crazy person, really. He's
just a freaking crackhead.
Yeah, he lives in the middle of nowhere in the forest. He worships a snake goddess. All this other stuff.
What?
He hates.
Oh, so he's like a 6th level wizard. Okay.
Yeah, these are things that he said in interviews and stuff. He never watches any of the adaptations of his own stuff, and he personally isn't really a fan of superheroes, despite the fact that he's written a bunch of, famous superhero books.
Yeah, we couldn't tell.
Yeah. But he wrote Watchmen and a few other notable things throughout the years.
Well, and you love Watchmen.
I do love Watchmen, but I like me and Crazy Man were talking about that just the other day. I like Watchmen the movie more than I actually like the book, which is blasphemous, I know, but it's just the way it is.
I didn't. So you and I watched it, and I liked it, and I was like, why is everyone fighting about who is correct? It's obvious who is correct. And then I found out about the squid thing, and I'm very confused. Why was that put in the book? That's part of why I think the movie. I haven't read the book, obviously, but that's part of why I think the movie is better. Don't use crackhead as a pejorative. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
He's a fucking meth head then, okay?
Alan
Smarter than anyone here.
Alan Moore has become so
He's a
intelligent
freaking
that he's
faggot.
crossed the line into madness, Captain Finity.
He's not intelligent.
He was intelligent once upon a time. It's a funny looking snake god. Look it up when you have the chance. Yeah, it's true. It's like some
Lycon. Wait, it's real? It does worship a snake god?
Yeah, what, you think I just said that for no reason? That's literally what I just said, Ellie, and I'm telling you things that he said in interviews.
Ugh. Nothing is helping me like him.
Yeah. That wide brim hat with the overhead light, a badass, Michael T, says Jason. Hail the wife, good to see you.
Rome. Oh my god.
I don't know where it is, but it's a snake god.
He's a psycho, and I hate him.
Gonna have to remove that. I had to bring it up real quick. But yeah, either way, we've actually got, it's not the whole thing. I can only imagine the whole script must be what, like 1,000 pages long, right? Because we've got the first 12 pages of the Killing Joke's script, like the actual script for the first 12 pages of the Killing Joke, and it's 39 pages long. Like, it is, it's exactly what you think it would be, yeah? Like, if anyone's familiar with Alan Moore, you know that he is like this mad wizard rambling on about how he loves the sound of his own voice and everything. It is exactly what you think it is. It looks like the diary of a madman, and it's just walls of text, paragraph after paragraph, describing the most mundane things just for us to get to the actual, the actual comic book that we've all had. Honestly, if I got sent this, I would complain and I'd say, hey, nah, just like edit all this down. Like, especially if you're DC's editor or something, when they receive that, and I assume they're paying him by the page, I would have told him to like cut all the crap out and just give me the story, because this is so much. It's just it's even worse than the Kelly Sue DeConnick one. It's a better story, but it's just, there's so much rambling in here that I can't believe that anybody even accepted it.
I've heard that they pay by the story and not by the page when it's writers. Like, they pay artists by the page, but they pay writers by the story. So it doesn't matter how long it is for a writer.
There's way too much rambling then. Like, it doesn't, that's the only possible reason that there would be so much rambling, is if he gets paid by the page. If he's not getting paid by the page and he's wasting this much space in just talking, even for panels that have no writing, like no dialogue at all, there's just a whole page for one panel. It's nonsense.
Yeah.
But either way, we'll jump right into it. We'll have a look, yeah, because I'll bring mine up first, because I've got the actual finished comic pages here, just like last time, which for anyone who wasn't here, we're going to compare the script to the actual comic book itself. And so I've got the comic book here, and Ali is sharing the script, right? But we're going to do it the other way around this time. Like, I'm going to show you the finished comic book pages, and then you can look at them, and then we'll talk about what you guys think it's going to, what this is going to look like. Because honestly, like, yeah, I'll bring it up. All right, the first page of the Killing Joke, as you can see. Like,
yeah, Jason, the first 12 comic pages are 39 script pages.
Jason, yeah, it's 39 pages of script for 12 pages of comic book.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and how long was the book? I can't remember how long the Killing Joke actually is. It's pretty fucking long. Pages. There's a lot. Like, it's
Grant Morrison, the artist.
Book. Grant Morrison's a writer. Yeah. We'll go back to the start then. Here you go. Look, it's got an introduction by Tim Sale, and I'm pretty sure it was Kelly Jones who did the art, wasn't it? Oh no, that was the Sandman book we were looking at. I don't remember who the artist for the Killing Joke is. Somebody tell us in the chat who the artist for the Killing Joke is, because I honestly can't remember. But either way, let's just have a look at this real quick, yeah? Right, this is the first page of the Killing Joke.
It said it on the cover.
No, it didn't. It didn't. All right, but we've got the first page of the comic book here. Did it say it on there? I don't think it said it on. I'll go back and I'll check. Hold on, let me check. It does, yeah. Brian Boland is art and colors.
Okay. Well, if I were him, I would have turned down this script because it would make me also insane. But in addition, I give all the credit for the success of the Killing Joke to that artist, purely because of how insane the script is. Like, it makes no fucking sense.
Yeah, well, that seems to be a going trend with all of the scripts I've seen from these, quote unquote professional writers. They ramble on a lot. They spend a lot of time just talking shit and saying, oh, check this out, check that out. I'm sure you'll do okay. The blah 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 blah.
The Kelly
and here's
Sue
the panel.
DeConnick one had actual
Homework.
links in it for you to go look
was...
at and how here's a whole thing on learning about circles and stuff. Like, it was so stupid.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. It was honestly ridiculous. But let's jump right into this here, because I've got the first page up there. I'm sure everyone's had a good look at it by this point, because it's been up there for a few minutes.
Brian Bell end, am I right?
But anyway, we're going to look just focus.
Can you zoom in on the first 3 panels? Can you do that?
No, I cannot. Oh, yeah, I can, actually. Let's keep zooming in. Oh, I can only
because those first 3 panels are like the first 5 pages of script.
Here we go. So focus on this, because this is what we're going to be talking about for the next hour, I guess. Yeah.
I need a sheet of sheet metal so I can rattle it to make thunder sounds.
Yeah, here we have this, the rainy puddle, the rainy puddle, and more rainy puddle, and then the Batmobile approaching from the distance.
Dun, dun, dun,
Jason Black still remembers number 4. Kelly Sue. Yes, exactly.
I think that was number 5, but yes.
Oh,
Ryan.
Wait till you see the script, buddy.
So what do you guys think, right? Like, tell me, Ali, you can't answer this because you've seen the script. Michael hasn't seen the script yet, so he can actually answer these questions, all right? And everyone in the chat, let me know as well, right? These puddles for these first 2 panels, and then the Batmobile off in the distance approaching the puddle, what do you think would need to be written? Like, you can fit this in a YouTube comment, like for this first panel alone, just, like a dark puddle with the rain splashing in it and making the ripples, like that's all you would need to tell me, and I would draw basically exactly that, right?
I swear to God, if it starts with a dark and stormy night, I'm going to fucking lose my shit.
No.
It's worse.
Man, you're half a page away from ever getting to the first point of description for this panel. Yeah, everybody who's familiar with Alan Moore won't be surprised by this, honestly. Okay, so you've got these first panels here. Take a good look in, absorb them, have a look, think about what you think you would need to be told to draw this stuff, and then we'll cut across to the script here and we'll have a look, all right?
Exterior, night. Camera at 35-degree dip angle, close up. Puddle.
You don't even need that much.
No, because what I would do,
135 raindrops hit the puddle.
Not even that, dude. I would just say first 3 panels are a puddle pulling back. In the distance, you see the cool Batmobile.
You would end up with something similar to this, yeah.
Yeah, it would be exactly this. It's nighttime,
A lonely
do
leaf
with
drifts
what you
across
will.
the panel.
Oh, you're outside of the walls of Arkham. You'd include that too, I guess, because it is outside of Arkham.
Because you need the fencing and stuff like that, sure.
Yeah, right, but it's like 2-3 sentences.
That's some good brickwork right there. Right?
Yeah, something like that. Like, you don't need a lot, right? Yeah, look, Jason Black here, he's got one. Close up, emphasis on circles in rain puddles, then more circles in rain puddles, then puddles but with a vehicle approaching.
The old
Batmobile, but look at
the one that
Mo's,
looks like it has the Green Goblin's face on it.
Mo is much closer.
Each droplet of corrupting condescension strikes the heart of a ripple like a toxic target. You know what? You're not far off. Yeah, let's swap over and show you. Right?
But
prepare yourselves for this wall of
Jesus. Jesus.
So I pulled back so that you can get the full effect of it.
Yeah, well, you're gonna have to zoom in on the first because we're gonna read this script. Remember,
I will.
Have a look at this. Yeah.
I will, but I wanted people to see what it looks like from afar because you don't really understand until you see from afar.
Middle of page 2, the narrator dies.
So we have.
Hold on, before you start reading it, Ellie, go through and find panel 2. See, because panel 1 starts right here.
Okay, here's panel 1.
Where does it say panel 2? Holy shit.
That's page 4 now, isn't it? Or is that
page 3? Right there.
That says 2.
Yeah, that's panel 2. That's how he writes it.
Holy crap. Holy crap.
I love at the very end, in all caps, no dialogue.
No dialogue. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
not
what
even
he does.
any dialogue. Imagine if there was dialogue on this page. This is a panel with no characters in it. No like facial expressions or anything like that. No characters doing anything. This is literally a close-up panel of a puddle in the rain, and it was what, a page and a half? Go on.
Yeah,
read
and
I
Dragon
kind of
Pie,
scanned it while you did that, and the whole first page is basically, I don't know what I'm doing, but here's what I have in mind.
look at the margins that he programmed into this. Like, this is insane. This is like an inch and a half margins. This is not necessary. And he even specifies this book is only 46 pages. And the script, as you can see, for the first 12 is only 39 pages. Or it is already 239 pages. So translate that however you know.
How does that work? Yeah, wait, how does that work? Because this is only the first 12 pages of the comic.
Yeah, the comic itself is 46 pages. But the script is already almost that long just for the first 12 pages. So it is probably like 150 pages or something insane.
Yeah, and it condenses the all caps wall of text so it's more aggressive. This is a thing that I've worked with multiple artists at this point, right? And I've even like read scripts that I had nothing to do with just because I'm friends with the people. I've never seen anything like this come from the people who work in indie comics. I'm going to do this just a mainstream phenomenon.
He's going to do it now.
I'm not going to send it to Alec because it'll come back proofread.
Yeah, exactly.
No, you would have to pay me like 3 times the amount I normally charge to fix this because I'd have to retype it all.
Just because the all caps would bother you?
Yeah, because you can't just go like that and then like all caps it. That's not a thing. You can't do. That's true. So I'd have to retype it all.
This is just a writer masturbating. Yeah, well, Ellie, read this first paragraph. Read up to Isle. Read that first paragraph.
Well, I've checked the landing gear, fastened my seatbelt, swallowed my cigar in a single gulp, and ground my scotch and soda out in the ashtray provided. So I suppose we're all set for takeoff. Before we go screeching off into those angry creative skies from which we may both well return as blackened cinders, I suppose a few preliminary notes are in order. So sit back while I run through them with accompanying hand movements from out charming stewardess in the center aisle.
Okay, first of all,
that's supposed to be our.
Yeah, most likely, yeah. But right, I'm all for an intro. Sure, you want to like give us a little intro, like what he's saying here. He's going to give you guys a bit of a layout and what he has in mind. Why does it say page 1, panel 1 before that? You know, and what Jason was saying in the chat there, like I would send this back as well. This is the actual script, Dragon Pisces. This is the actual script for The Killing Joke. This is by Alan Moore.
This is not for an artist. This is for somebody who's over the edge.
This is a world-renowned writer. Yeah, Jesus. Yeah, exactly right. But yeah,
yeah, that's how you stretch out a script, Ryan.
Yeah, this is how you do it, right? And this is why I said I think he was getting paid by the page, because this is actually outrageous. Continue, Ellie. Continue until we get to the point where he actually starts describing a puddle in any way.
Firstly, since I'm not entirely sure how these graphic novels are set out, might I suggest that if there are end papers of any kind, they might be designed so as to flow into and out of the first and last panels of the story, since both the first and last panels contain a simple close-up. So he already knows how it's going to end, by the way. Fucking dickhead. Contain a simple close-up image of the surface of a puddle rippled by rain. Then, maybe a simple enlargement of a black and white ripple effect to the point where it becomes huge and abstract would be in order? As with all my visual suggestions, both here and in the panel descriptions below, please don't feel bound by them in any way. They're only meant as workable suggestions, so if you can see a better set of pictures than I can, which I'd say is quite likely all things considered, then please feel free to throw out what I've come up with and substitute whatever you feel like.
We're still not at a puddle description, Ellie.
I mean, he said that...
No. Where he is actually talking about the content of panel 1.
Okay.
Yeah, where do we get to the actual thing that I need to draw as the artist?
And unrestricted as possible during the several months of your bitterly brief mortal lifespan that you'll spend working on this job. So just lay back and mellow out. Take your shoes and socks off. Fiddle around in between your toes. Nobody cares. Another general note would regard style and presentation. I've already gone into this in the synopsis, so I won't dwell on it too much here, except to underline a couple of the more important points. One such point would be our treatment of the Batman and his mythos, including the Batmobile, the Batcave, and whatever other elements might find themselves included in the story before its end. As I see it, this story isn't set in any specific time period. We didn't show any calendars or any newspapers with headlines close enough to read the date. The architecture and the settings in general that we see are either obviously old and dated, as in the carnival sequences, or have an ambiguous ort of
not an ambiguous ort.
And
I have a new channel name, guys.
Orts are my least favorite kind of ort.
I got a new channel name.
Both futuristic and antique at the same time, as with the Fleischer, Superman, Lange's Metropolis look that I see our version of Gotham City as having, at least on its upper levels. The lower and seedier levels of Gotham are more inclined toward a territory somewhere between David Lynch and the Cabinet of Dr. Caligari. All patches of rust and mold and hissing steam and damp, glistening alleyways. I imagine this strip as having an oppressively dark film noir feel to it, with a lot of unpleasantly tangible textures, such as you habitually render so delightfully to give the whole thing a really intense feeling of palpable unease and craziness, like right now. Since I know that you like using large areas of black anyway, racist, then might I suggest that we use the dark and shadowy nature of our backdrops and the blackness of the Batman's costume to give us as many interesting, primarily black compositions as we can get away with? I didn't even know this.
Sorry, the way you read that was fucking hilarious.
The fact that the Joker is such a bleached and bloodless white plays... I have to do it that way or else I'll go insane. Plays off interestingly against this, I reckon.
Do this normally if she wanted to.
So please, feel free to go completely loopy with the quink. What is the quink? I don't know. I don't know
what a quink is.
As far as the characters themselves
not up to the
go...
puddle yet.
Yeah. This is all in panel 1, you guys. Read between the puddle lines.
This is exactly what you would expect from Alan Moore, honestly. Just rambling like madness.
In detail. Good. I want more detail from you, Alan, you fuck. When they make their appearances. But my only general note...
You describing things in detail? Oh, shit.
No. Would be that... Like the landscape and the various props, they have a sort of timeless and mythic quality to them which doesn't fix them firmly in any one age range or time period. The Joker looks like either old or badly depraved, but then he's always looked that way. The Batman is big and grim and older than we are, because as I remember the Batman, he's always been bigger and older than I am, and I'll fight any man that says different. Given this time and...
Who wrote Batman Year One? Go kick his ass, Alan.
It also strikes me that there are certain elements of the story that have strong operatic elements, both The Batman and the Joker have a powerful operatic quality to their appearance in that the Joker is an extreme version of the Harlequin figure with the Batman's cape and mask looking like something straight out of Die Fledermaus. I don't know why I mentioned this, except to underline the sort of grand emotional intensity I want this book to have with both the Batman and the Joker becoming powerful and precise symbolic figures in a nightmarish and almost abstract landscape. Anyway, before I wander off into a completely impenetrable aesthetic fog, I suppose we roll out our sleeves up.
We ought to roll out our sleeves.
We out to roll our sleeves up and get straight down
This
to
man's
business.
certifiably insane.
Ado.
Do you think he put this after panel 1 just to fuck with the artist?
Probably. Or no, I would think that if I hadn't seen the rest of the script and it's all the same.
Some person, Ellie, breathe.
I can't breathe when there's no period or comma.
Yeah,
this
imagine being the artist having to make this.
Yeah. This first page and a couple of the subsequent ones have 9 panels apiece, albeit with very little or no dialogue to clutter them up. I want the silence and the metronome-like visual beat that the panels will have to create a sense of tension and intrigue and suspense with which to drag the reader into the story while still leaving us enough room to set up all the narrative and atmospheric elements that we want to establish. In this first panel,
oh, finally,
we have
Holy fuck.
a tight close-up of the surface of a puddle.
Okay, you're on line 6. Roll back up to the first page.
Holy shit.
See, and there was you all worried that I wouldn't give you anything fascinating to draw.
Why do they always think out loud like that too? That was something Kelly Sue DeConnick did, and bloody Neil Gaiman did as well in his script. They just they tend to, write that little second thought, like the little chuckle to themselves, and they give that to the artist as well. Like, I don't need to see that as an artist. Like, I don't need any of this, honestly. Especially because half of what he's saying is, I am familiar with your artwork and you will do this because this is what you do best. It's like, yeah, I was probably going to do that anyway because I'm an artist and this is what I do.
I'd be like, hey, Bellend, would you like to make a lot of money making a Batman comic?
Not like this.
Yeah, not like this.
And this one is salary double to put up with Alan Moore.
Yeah, but this is arguably more egregious than Kelly Sue DeConnick's, because Kelly Sue DeConnick's was a terrible book. The Killing Joke is a famous book, like it is renowned for being a good Batman story, and yet this is what the script looks like. Unbelievable. We still haven't gotten to panel 2.
That's why I give all of the credit for this to the artist. Because he took this and made it work.
Like and subscribe for the artist of The Killing Joke, honestly. Look at him from Alan Moore's perspective. Now he doesn't have to rewrite this discussion when he does his memoirs. He just throws the script in there as is.
I got so crazy reading this just now that I broke a nail. Beating. I broke a nail.
Well, I'm sorry that happened to you, Ellie, but we've only just started. You're only on panel 1.
You've got 9 more nails.
Outrageous.
I know.
Not for long.
Sorry, nails. Try and read it like a New Yorker or an annoying baby voice. I think Dean would kill me if I tried to do that second one.
Courtney, that's a terrible idea. It's your final warning.
This is your final warning.
I can't
Some
believe I've
person
allowed you
says
to continue
Mike
like
T.
this as long as you have.
Tag in Michael T.
All right, so we're to the puddle. All right.
Are we?
We're so close to the puddle as to see it only as an almost abstract image of widening ripples spreading across a shadowy and black liquid surface. It is nighttime, and the ripples that we see in the foreground are caused by large droplets of rain that fall through the foreground in diagonal slashes. Maybe we can see one droplet as its precise moment of impact with the puddle, so we are close to it. Although I don't suppose that this information will make much difference to this current panel. For your future reference, it is mid-November and bitterly cold. Here, all we see is the rain splashing into the puddle and the silvery white ripples spreading out across the darkness. No dialogue.
No dialogue.
No dialogue.
Wow. Now, in case anyone's forgotten, because it's been that long, this was this first panel here. That's what we were describing. Okay?
Just the one.
Just the one. We haven't even done 2 or 3 yet. But it's just that first panel right there. All of that. That absolute madness.
Yeah.
Now, does anyone have any comments so far? Because honestly, that knocked me for a loop. I would have to go back and read. I'd be like, what am I drawing? Sorry, Alan. I just got lost there for a second. What do I need to draw?
You're like, I think I just saw like space. I saw my death. I had a stroke. That's what's happening in this.
Does Alan Moore hate artists? I'm convinced that he actually straight up hates comic books in general. There's no way you write this thinking that the artist is going to enjoy reading it, you know? Yeah. G'day, Felix. Welcome.
Allie poisoned the water supply.
Mo had lots of comments, he says. Look, oh yeah, I read that.
Would it fill a page and a half?
I actually have to put my hair up because reading this out loud is making me like warm. I have to put my hair up.
Yeah. He is a wizard and he worships a snake god. This is that's actually Alan Moore lore right there.
Snafu, is this meth? Yes.
Wait, does he think his snake god gives him powers? Because that's not a wizard, that's a cleric.
I don't know.
Author's notes. While those puddles ripples are evocative of the deep void in Batman's life, but are they existential enough? All right, so panel 2, page 3 of script.
Was he drungs? Says Snafu.
Yes, Snafu. He was totally drungs.
Yes. He was drungs. Drungs AF.
Same shot, but now we pull back maybe a foot or more so that we can at least see a couple of the puddle's edges, defining it as a puddle and giving us some sense of its location. The puddle is in fact situated at the base of one of the stone pillars / gateposts that frame the gates of Arkham Asylum. These pillars being set into a black railed fence of wrought iron, beyond which only dark and shadowy cypress trees, stripped by autumn, are visible in this second panel.
You could have just said zoom out.
He could have, but why? When he can do this.
When he can do this masterpiece, whatever the hell this is, yeah.
We can't see very much of this. Just the ace of one of the stone gateposts and a little of the road surface immediately outside the asylum gates, with the sizable puddle resting in an indentation thereof.
Right.
You've got this open in open office, right? You can
I do.
As Allie's making fun of it.
It's me.
Oh,
I've got it open. It's me.
Yeah, no, it's fine. And plus, editing it is not our job. We're not paid for this. This book has already been made.
Put the damn B in. Make it a lowercase one.
No.
A lowercase b.
There you go. Perfect.
Yeah.
All your base are belong to more. Oh, the rain is still falling and splashing into the puddle. And perhaps we see an autumn leaf bowling through the panel somewhere.
Yeah,
the real point of this
crisis
panel.
Now over. Now that it's been disconnected from its mother.
Yeah.
Less is not more.
Through the world, like all of us.
The real point of this panel is that suddenly, reflected in the puddle, we see the headlights of a car that is approaching the gates from off panel above.
Right.
In the rippled surface of the puddle, even though the lights are still identifiable as reflected headlights, there's an interesting oscillating display of liquid light and shadow patterns. No dialogue.
I love the fact that it's just like all of this for no dialogue. Like, what are the panels going to look like? Because I only read the first couple pages of this. Like, we skimmed through it and we're like, yeah, this is the one we're doing, right? I haven't seen anything that actually does have dialogue yet. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what he does when it gets to a point where you got characters talking to each other and stuff like that.
Ryan's like, lol, the rain has not stopped in between the panels.
Honestly, like I feel like that didn't need to be said, you know, like he established that it was a nighttime shot and that it was raining and everything, and then he described the puddle. Why would it stop raining by panel 2? Like it wouldn't. And this is a world-renowned writer here. This is just, it's amazing that they were like, artists in comic books don't get enough credit. People say that, you know, oh, nobody cares about the writers. Artists don't get enough credit if this is what they're dealing with. They deserve all the credit as far as I'm concerned. This is outrageous.
So it could have been panel 1, close-up of puddle with ripples from rain. It's nighttime. Panel 2, pull back a little. There are some leaves. It's next to Arkham Asylum. Panel 3, like that's not even like a quarter of a page yet.
Yeah, no, there's absolutely no reason for it to be this long. And I've never worked with an indie writer who does this. This must be a mainstream writer problem because it's crazy. It's honestly crazy. I don't know how else to put it. This is the Diaries of a Madman, and it is exactly what you expect from Alan Moore.
This is your anniversary present, wife. Wow. Courtney wants me to read it with more drama. I'll try. I'm not good at that.
The artist, nevermore.
Nevermore.
That's very clever, Mo.
It is. He's usually quite clever. So now we're into panel 3. Oh, do you want to show them panel 2? Remind them what panel 2 looks like.
Oh, yeah. Because he got the leaf in there. I noticed that when he said there was the leaf blown through, he did get the leaves in there. You know, but it really, like, there's so much unnecessary dialogue that it, like, I got lost in it. Like what Chris said a second ago, he's like, sorry, I zoned out. Did he describe the puddle yet? You know, it's like, I got lost in there with all of his just like
musings on life.
Yeah, exactly. His musings, right? He was just going on about other things and like, you know, talking about how you can compare it to this and that and all this other shit that you don't need. You don't need any of this. Look, like puddle at nighttime, close up so we can only see the water. Rains like, you know, the raindrops are rippling in the water. You would get exactly that with that jumbled sentence that I just said. You know, then on top of that, you got like, you know, zoom out a little bit and you can see that it's next to the gates and fence of Arkham Asylum. Too easy, mate. Too easy. I'm sure this wasn't the first time Arkham Asylum was drawn, so we all know what the fence looked like at that point. He didn't need to go into about how the iron bars and everything like that. He really didn't need to describe that in any way. But yeah, let's go on because I want to see how he describes this Batmobile off in the distance because we haven't gotten to that yet at all.
Okay. As I breathe.
Yes. Breathe, Ellie. Remember to breathe.
Breathing is for mortals. All right.
You knew what this was, Crazy Mad.
All right, now we're on panel 3. Almost page 4. We pull back still further so that we can see most of the stone gate pillar, the bottom of which we saw last panel. And so that we can see we can also see the other pillar coming into view up in the right of the foreground. We cannot see the top of this foreground pillar yet, or the metal plate affixed to it, but we can now see that the stone pillars are arranged on either side of a wrought iron gate onto which the rain is falling, dripping mournfully from the black and sinister ironwork. Looking beyond the gate and its pillars, we can see the railed iron fence that the gate is set into stretching away to the end of the row. Looking beyond the row of railings and into the darkness beyond, we can see the approaching headlights of a large, dark car. The lights look like the smoldering and white-hot eyes of some insanely vicious and powerful nocturnal predator hissing through the rain towards the asylum gates. In the puddle, which we can see all of now, the headlights of the approaching car are still visible, getting bigger as the car approaches. No dialogue.
We're on page 4 with 3 panels, and we've only just reached panel 3.
I also, absolutely, Alan. You're right. The smoldering and white-hot eyes of an insanely vicious and powerful nocturnal predator is exactly what I think of when I envision the Batmobile. He's a poet.
That or Alan Moore, yeah.
Courtney's telling me to rap. I think Dean would also kill me if I tried to rap.
Yeah. You're like 5 seconds away from being kicked off the stream if you start rapping.
Word.
Oh my god.
It wasn't rapping!
Keep reading.
No, you gotta show the panel.
Oh, you want to go back to the panel? I mean, everybody, like, this is the third panel here, so you can see what we were
dark
looking
and
at.
sinister predator off in the distance.
Nocturnal predator.
Yes, we can see the whole
right
the whole puddle now. The puddle, which is very important for us to care about.
There we go. Yeah, there you go. So you can see, like, the puddle line and the Batmobile off in the distance,
hissing,
the headlights. And it's not only that it has no dialogue, this has no sound effects or anything. Like, he is just rambling and rambling and rambling for 3 images that you could have done in 3 paragraphs, let alone 3.5, 4 pages. What was he on? 4 pages. This is ridiculous.
Well, and he's describing a lot of motion. I think he's like seeing this as a movie in his head.
Well, I mean, that's not a bad thing. That's not a bad thing. Like when I was writing stuff, I thought of it as moving, and that's how you get good shots in your head. But at the same time,
but like with as much as he's got going on, you could make it like 9 panels.
Yeah, definitely. But half of it would just be pictures of Alan Moore jerking his dick.
So the script for Egg Beater started out as a movie, as I've told people. And when I translated it into comic, I actually changed so much of it because I didn't want it to look like a movie script. I wanted my artist to look at it and see panels, right? Because in a movie script, you can say, pan camera left, and then you know what you're going to see. You're going to see a whole bunch of forest. But in the comic script, you have to say, like, in panel 3, there is a forest. Like,
it's just a manifesto. You're right.
If I had just handed my artist
about the Jews too.
Oh my god!
This takes as long as it takes, Chris.
If I had just handed my artist the Egg Beater script that was for the movie, he probably would have sent it back to me because it looked kind of like this, except like not insane.
Athelon's got a good point here. He's like, you could have just done it in 1 sentence. Like, you could tell me, all right, you've got 3 panels here. All right, and start off really close, zoom up in the puddle, and then zoom out towards the Batmobile slowly. Like, you could easily get that done in just a sentence or 2, and the artist would give you exactly what you just got at the very start of this book. Is this story from the famous Ripples of the Puddle arc?
Yes, probably. This is issue 1.
Yeah.
Of the Ripples of the Puddle. Alan Moore, diatribe on the entrance to Arkham Asylum.
Dean has a signed copy.
Artist, I'm just going to draw a gate with Arkham written on it. Yeah, Courtney, that's what I'm trying to do, but it's like, it's so ridiculous that it's hard.
It is. But now we've actually got, we've got some images with, not the full Batman, but that's some Batman right there. I'm genuinely curious to see how he's going to describe this, like the middle panel there, this bit of Batman's arm, like, is this Batman getting out of the Batmobile? But it's not going to be that simple. Like, what do you think he's going to say to describe these 3 panels here?
He rises
after that,
like a monolith in the night.
After the absolute, poetry that we just got for these 3 panels, what do you think we're going to get for these 3 panels?
Panel 4.
Magical.
It'd be funny if panel 6 was just Batman opens gate.
Oh, I know, right?
You wish.
Panel
4. I was going to say you could probably even just leave it open to the thing, but never mind. People like reading along, probably. Now, we're probably on the second tier. In this panel, we have pulled back still further from the puddle so that we can see all of the stone gate posts, including the top of the one right in the right of the foreground, to which is affixed a clearly visible metal plate engraved with the words Arkham
That's actually a
Asylum
good
for the
idea.
criminally insane. The plate looks a
Right.
little old and tarnished in places, and the rain beats against it mercilessly as it falls. Moving
I feel like that
closer.
really wasn't captured here in this panel.
Bad job, artist.
Like he's
Moving
taken 4
closer
pages to
from-
describe the first 4 seconds of a Joel Schumacher Batman movie.
Not even, man. Not even. This is just like the music, you know, like the dun 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 is still playing. Like they have, like the credits are rolling. Still. They haven't even started the movie yet, you know?
Like Michael Keaton's name is still on the screen.
Yeah, exactly.
Moving closer from the background since last panel, the approaching car has now maybe come to rest just outside the asylum gates, perhaps with its front near side tire rolling into the puddle as it comes to a halt. The headlights
hold
are
on a second.
glaring. Yes.
Hold on a second. Mo
Okay.
Biggs has a fun fact for everyone. The worst part is that Moore's assistant had to adapt this script onto paper from its original format, words smeared on the wall in feces.
Probably. It was
What's that
probably like
smell?
the end scene in Quills where like he's straight up been sitting there writing like with his poop.
Jason's like, he actually said we've pulled back even further from the puddle. It sounded like you were exaggerating there, but he said it.
Yes. He said it.
Yeah, let the puddles go. Just leave the puddles out of this, man.
You can't make this shit up.
This script is why artists are less up in arms about ChatGPT than they are about Midjourney. Yeah, that's exactly right, DD.
Well, the headlights are glaring straight at us so that all we can really see behind them is a shadowy bulk representing the car.
Well, that's
Even
not at all what he
so,
drew, but okay.
There is something odd about the car's design that is apparent even though we can only see the vaguest outline. The car is in fact the Batmobile. And in order to achieve the sort of timeless effect that we're after, I figure we should design a Batmobile that conjures the best elements of our favorite versions. Are you guys ready?
Well, we haven't even seen the Batmobile really yet. Like, he decided to not show the Batmobile at all.
Oh, well. For my part, I always liked the 50s version with the long hood terminating in a bat-faced battering ram. Maybe you could combine the basic chunkiness and period charm of something like that with something a bit more sinister and futuristic. Dragging in... Oh, by the way, there's ... there instead of just a period. Dragging in design elements from the 80s and 90s, for example. As long as it's long and black and dangerous looking.
Silhouette of Batmobile classic, only hood visible. Yeah, exactly, Adeline.
Sticking up at the back, then I'll be content. Anyway, as I said earlier, we can't see much more of the huge car here than its shape, crouched threateningly behind its headlights as it rolls to a standstill outside the asylum gates. No dialogue.
I find it hard to believe Batman would use a Batmobile that only had a 4-lug hub.
Yeah, interesting, right? That's an interesting choice for the Batmobile's wheels. But yeah, that was just that fourth panel there. That's the first panel in this row that we're looking at.
Now we're on
Bruce
page
Wayne can
5 of
afford
the
white
script.
walls.
We're on page 5 of the script, and it says page 1, panel 5.
Amazing.
In case you forgot what page we're on.
This is actually
it's hard
incredible.
to tell.
No dialogue.
It's like leftist memes, five times more verbose than Strictly Max Limited.
Right? It's like that.
Yeah, the artist, draw front of car. Yeah, got it.
It's like that meme where it's like, I ain't reading all that. I'm sorry that happened to you. Or congratulations, like whichever.
Yeah, whatever.
I have to write like this so people can't pause to escape this complete a-hole writing of mine. Me more. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Batman!
If I ever see Alan Moore, I'm going to punch him in his stupid beard because he has done this, and it is offensive.
You wouldn't be.
And just look at him and go, you know what you did.
I mean, he will too.
Yeah, but just like every other time that someone's tried to punch Alan Moore, he would disappear into a cloud of smoke.
Into the arms of his snake goddess.
Yeah, into the arms of his snake goddess.
I'll dress up like Death, because then he won't be able to escape me. Because he lives in this world.
Yeah, awesome ones like they must have got rid of storyboarding. I've actually received scripts where it was just, set up in the like, here's some panel layouts that we would want you to do. And then it just had like little descriptions in the panels. That works better than this. This is outrageous.
Yes, Adam, you can see this wall from space.
Your fist would get stuck in his beard, Allie.
He just like shakes me around and I'm like trapped. Ah! How tall is he? Is he a tall man?
I had no idea. I've only ever seen him sitting, like most living people.
I will look this up.
How tall is Alan Moore? Like I probably couldn't reach his beard. I'd probably have to get like a stool.
No, exactly the same, Ryan. I'd charge you double for this.
6'3".
Ryan says his overall rate goes up exponentially if this shit is like if this is the shit he's got to work with. It's like, yeah, same.
Oh, for real.
And he's
like I would demand 3 times.
It's at least double. It is at least double. It's like method acting but writing. He's put himself in the mind space of someone who was locked in Arkham for years.
It really feels like if the Jared Leto Joker was trying to write a script.
Some person's like, I like Alan Moore. I think his craziness is endearing.
I got a screwed up thing. Apparently on Bing, which is like a Microsoft owned search engine.
We know what Bing is, yeah.
Okay. There's like a new feature Microsoft's like freaking shipping out right now called Copilot, which is powered by GPT-4. Basically giving you summarizations of things you're trying to look at and check out and think. Okay. It popped up Copilot. Alan Moore, the renowned writer and creator of iconic graphic novels, stands tall at 6 feet 4 inches. His towering presence is matched only by the depth of his storytelling and the impact he has had on the world of comics and literature. From Watchmen to V for Vendetta, Moore's work continues to resonate with audiences, transcending the boundaries of traditional superhero narratives.
Oh God, imagine what V for Vendetta script looks like.
I'm just saying, Copilot, stop sucking Alan Moore's dick.
I mean, that's technically true, but I've heard a lot of people make some great arguments about Alan Moore actually ruining comic books with his, deconstructions and things like that. Everybody wants to be Alan Moore. He's what brought on the dark years and stuff like that. I've heard a lot of great arguments for that. So, yes and no. But the dude's a giant, 6'4". That's fucking massive. He should play basketball. Continue, Allie.
Okay.
And he's 69 years old.
We're at panel 5. Now we change angles so that we are standing between the Batmobile and the railed fence of the asylum, with the nose of the Batmobile pointing away from us from the right of the foreground towards the left of the background, which is where we can see the gates of the asylum situated. The headlights still glittering upon the large puddle at the base of the nearest pillar. Over on the right of the extreme foreground, we can see a little of one door of the Batmobile, including the handle. That's important. Over on the left of the extreme foreground, we can see the scalloped blackness of the Batman's cloak hanging down into the picture as he stands just off panel to the left. We can also see one of his long gray arms, densely muscles, reaching out through the rain towards the car door, where we see his black-finned glove just pushing the car door closed behind him as he gets out, standing beside his vehicle and gazing toward the asylum gates that we have seen in the background. The gates are closed, but we cannot see any padlock, so presumably the gates have been left open in anticipation of the Batman's arrival. Perhaps we see a couple more leaves tumbling forlornly through the windswept November background. In the foreground, the rain runs down the sleek and shiny black metal sides of the Batmobile, dripping from the oddly shaped wing mirrors. No dialogue.
Jason's like the artist. Fuck you, Alan Moore. No car door handle for you.
Is there no car handle?
No, have a look. Like, I'm sharing that on the screen right now while you're describing it.
Right there. That's right. You stand strong, Bell End.
Yeah, yeah.
Ali, can you use an English accent? Is he English?
I don't know. He's definitely something.
Someone clip all the Ali parts and release the Ali cut for tonight's show.
I will do that. Don't worry.
No one will watch that.
You'd be surprised. People, the video on YouTube just watching paint dry has like 1.5 million views, so you'd be surprised.
That's true. My dog is looking at me. He's very disturbed at what I'm doing.
But the way he described Batman on, like, just outside of panel and everything, you could just say, all right, yeah, show Batman getting out of the car, but give us a close-up on his arm or something. Make sure we don't reveal Batman just yet. And you would have ended up with the exact same thing. Also, I hate when Batmobiles have doors. The Batmobile shouldn't have doors. It should, he should be jumping out the top of it. But yeah, continue.
We have a Lego Batmobile where you press a little thing and he actually flies out the top. It's so fun.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's the way a Batmobile should be.
Yeah, it was really fun when we figured it out. I was like, how does he come out? And then you just press a little thing and he goes poosh, like he flies away. Okay. Now we're at panel 6, by the way.
Yeah. This is the silhouette of Batman coming through a gate, right?
Page 5, panel 6.
That's what it says? But that's what it says, right? It just says, show Batman from a distance coming through the gate. Just give us the silhouette with, long dark shadow even. Like, right?
Those words are all in there. Okay. I'll try to do an English accent, but it's not going to be good.
Well,
we are now actually inside the grounds of the asylum, looking... Yeah, I can't do it.
That is exactly what Alan Moore sounds like.
That was a perfect impression.
Gently curving front driveway toward the inside of the gates that we saw last panel. The wet driveway closest to us in the extreme foreground reflects a bluish light cast by some source off panel. Looking beyond that, towards the gates, we see the weird and unearthly figure of the Batman, silhouetted against the rails of the iron gate as he opens it by the light of the stationary Batmobile parked off panel behind him. Wait, it's parked off... Fuck. You can't even see it. Oh my god. All we see of the Batman here, as he slips silently through the gate, is his shape, with no detail visible at all. Basically, I don't want to give a good clear shot of the Batman's face until panel 4 of page 5. So until then, we'll have to run through a repertoire of trick shots and shadowy scenes, which I think I have pretty well worked out. In this current panel, all we see is me losing my spot.
Allie, hold on. We have a report from some person. The English embassy is calling, and they're demanding your extradition.
Oh, okay.
For crimes against humanity, I think.
Yeah, Allie, can you use your English accent to say, "Please, sir, I want some more"?
Please, sir, I want some more.
Wow. Wow, that was intense.
Thank you. Okay.
What's all this then?
In this current panel, all we see is his unmistakable shape against the wrought iron metalwork as he enters the grounds of the asylum, the long cape flapping dismally in the November wind. Rain still falls in slashes through the foreground, bouncing up from the smooth asphalt of the driveway. No dialogue.
Was that panel 6? Was that the end of panel 6? Are we finally at the end of panel 6?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Good. Phew.
What's on panel 7? Tune in next time.
Jake would do a better Allie English accent. Thank you.
Guys, this stream has been going for an hour already, and we're up to panel 6 of page 1.
Imagine being the artist who's like...
I'm going to bed at midnight, my time, whether we're done or not.
He's trying to draw this, and he's just like, Batman silhouetted by Arkham gates in rain at night.
Yeah. Good job, artist. I've already forgotten the artist's name again, but good job, mate. You nailed it. Exactly what Alan Moore asked for.
Now we're on page 6 of script.
Page 1.
Which he has to remind us is still page 1, panel 7.
Page 6. If I had a script that was 6 pages and I'm not even done with the first, like, actual page yet, I would be so shitty. I'd be out. I might even quit. I've never quit a job before, but I might quit. I'd be like, look, we've only just started. It's fine. I can leave. It's, I haven't even finished the page yet. We can do this.
How does he explain Robin's death? I've only got the first 12 pages, so I'm not sure, but I'm sure that it would give me like AIDS or something.
Well, yeah, no, that's a good point. Mo says, to be fair, Moore did tell the artist that if he didn't like his ideas, he could draw whatever he wants. That is true, yeah.
I should see the script for Watchmen. I tried just now to find the script for V for Vendetta, but I can't find it. It's really hard to find comic scripts. Okay. Page 1, panel 7.
All right, we're looking at page 1, panel 7. All right, so we can see what Ellie's about to describe in great detail.
I feel like Robin in the animated series after he's been tortured into becoming that creepy little clown midget. That's how I feel.
From what, the Batman Beyond movie?
From the animated series.
Yeah, that's an animated movie that you're describing.
Oh, well, it was fucking terrible and scary, and that's how I feel. I feel like that. Reverse our angle again, so that the open asylum gate is now in the extreme foreground, with the rain dripping from the peeling ironwork. Looking through the open gate and away up the drive towards the asylum's main building, we see a rear view of the Batman as he walks solemnly up the drive away from us through the rain. Did I mention it's raining? His cape flaps about him, its sharp black tips trailing through the puddles. I love puddles. At his feet
the artist,
as he walks.
Ellie, I don't know if you can see what I'm sharing because you're reading the script, yeah, but the artist just didn't draw the puddles this time. And he didn't draw any water running down the gates or anything. He's just like, fuck you, Alan Moore. I'm sick of this already.
Artist, you didn't say puddles.
You didn't say puddles. Yeah, there was no puddles.
20 to 1 says the drawn pages were never submitted to Alan.
I don't think he cared. He didn't care as long as he got this out.
Yeah, all he wanted to do was just write the script for his own sake. He didn't give a shit about anything else.
His cape flaps about him, its sharp black tips trailing through the puddles at his feet as he walks. His back is turned to us so that we cannot see his face, but we get a sense of his build. He is broad-shouldered with a massive chest and enough slab-like muscle on the rest of his physique to support it. As I see Batman, he isn't lithe and athletic-looking. He's a very big man, and the fact that he is capable of such stunning athletics despite his size is what is remarkable about him. He is fast, agile, intelligent, and hideously powerful in terms of physical strength, and I want his physique to echo this iron hardness.
You can't even see his physique yet at all. Like, honestly, there's no real Batman reveal yet. In one way or the other.
Has suffered a little from his proximity with Superman, in that artists and writers have perhaps felt compelled to play up his intellectual capacity, knowing that he can't compete muscle for muscle with Superman. Here, is Superman even in this book? No.
No, Superman's in this universe, though.
I know, but why mention him?
But also, we can't see Batman yet. As I said, like, you said this was from behind Batman. This is all just cape and Batman walking away.
Yeah.
Okay.
Here, I'd like to restore some of the built-like-a-brick shithouse Batman that I fondly remember from my boyhood. Looking beyond him here, as he walks away up the drive, away from us through the rain, we can see that there is a police car parked up at the end of the drive, right outside the steps that lead up to the double. doors of the asylum's main entrance. Its blue light is one, parentheses, hence the source of the blue light off panel in the foreground, last panel. And we can see there are two dark figures leaning up against its side and facing us, even though we can't see who they are here. I figure that the blue light atop the police car might play interestingly around the edges of the Batman's bizarre silhouette as he walks toward the parked car and the asylum doors beyond. The two figures, who probably won't be very visible here, are Commissioner Gordon and a uniformed patrolman. Gordon leans against the side of the parked car and sips a plastic cup full of steaming coffee, while the patrolman stands more upright and alert, probably in an at-ease position. All of this detail, including the identities of the two men, will not be apparent here, but I'm giving it to you for future reference. Behind the
Ellie, hold on. First of all, Mo's comment is hilarious.
Broke another nail.
You have 8 more.
No, but listen to this, yeah? Listen to this. Moore wrote this script in the bathtub, reading it aloud as he's made cringe every time he splashed in fury and snapped that she could wipe up the puddles in due time.
In
and then
due
also,
time.
Also, what you just read, you know, describing them leaning up against the cop car with the blue light and everything, possibly playing. Come have a look at that panel, Ellie. Like, come back over here and have a look at this panel.
I don't want to.
This is not Kmart.
My nail. Oh God. But I like how he says, like, you might not see them, but I'm telling you for future reference. Like, fucking ignore this. It'll happen sometime.
Yeah, basically. If it's not in the panel, I don't need to hear about it, you know?
All right. It wasn't even done yet. Behind the parked car, the illuminated and weird facade, which he bothered to find the C with the little squiggle at the bottom, of Arkham Asylum rises us. Its windows ominously barred. No dialogue.
None of that is in the panel. Just behind them is just a blank wall.
Ominous.
Yeah. Someone's going to have to redraw this now. I want my goddamn director's cut. Restore the Moore cut.
Oh my God.
That's it, Dean. You know what you have to do now.
I'm not doing that. No fucking way. Maybe
Puddle.
in 2027.
Puddle power. Yeah. Alan Moore, obsessed with puddles. And now we're still in... Okay, we're on page 7 of script. Page 1 of comic, panel 8.
Okay.
We're on the bottom center panel.
Yeah. I thought we were on the bottom center panel already when he started describing the, you know, the cops leaning up against the police car and everything like that, but apparently not.
No.
Either that or Alan Moore lost count of panels.
Because now we are even closer to the police car, looking at its side on so that we see the uniformed officer standing face on to us over on the left as he stands with his back to the car, and Commissioner Gordon face on over to the right, leaning against the car and drinking his steaming coffee, maybe looking up with a quizzical and concerned look over the rim of his cup towards the extreme left of the foreground, where we can see the Batman entering the picture from the left in profile. Since the Batman is... And there's a small A in parentheses. Oh, A, closer to us, and B, taller than either the commissioner or the patrolman in the background. We cannot see
Are
the top
A
of his
pissed
head.
and B getting fed up.
Here and above the bottom of the nose as the front of him enters the panel on the left. His eyes and upper head are invisible beyond the top panel border, and all we can really see is his mouth with the big and determined square jaw and the grim and disapproving scowl of the lips. The Batman does not appear from his posture to so much as glance at either Gordon or the patrolman as he walks past them, even through Even through both. Oh, it should be though. Both of them steal glances at him with differing looks of unease. The Puddle man looks uneasy just to be in the Batman's presence, while Gordon looks more concerned about the Batman's possible state of mind. Rain drips from everything, including the Batman's jutting and grizzled chin. Gordon gives the largely off-panel vigilante a penetrating look over his coffee cup, and the blue light atop the car washes over all of them as it circles. No dialogue.
This isn't even the end of page 1. We have another panel to go. What the fuck is happening? You're up to page 7.
I don't know, but he's all sucking the police car's dick now. Forgot all about the puddles.
Right? Yeah, you don't care about puddles anymore. Now he's all about cop car cock.
Artist, draw Gordon drinking coffee, standing next to a cop. Way ahead of you, boss.
Yeah, no worries, man. Got it.
The blue light and stuff isn't even there.
Yeah,
See,
no.
I think he meant to do this lowercase and then put the stuff in parentheses in uppercase, but I think he like typed 4 lines and decided, I've gone too far.
Yeah.
I can't
Panel
go back
9.
now.
Same shot
Page
exactly.
7 of script, panel 9.
Holy fuck. When you start with same shot exactly, I don't need a paragraph of writing after that, man.
Yes,
you know,
you
except
do,
now,
Dean.
now Gordon's put his cup down. He's handing it to the other cop. That's all we need. You've already described this panel once. You don't need to do it again, Ellie.
No,
Not taking
Alan
your
Moore
backwash,
knows
Gordon.
what you need. Alan Moore knows
Wow.
what you need. You need more.
Like and
Do you want me
subscribe to Alan Moore.
Do you want
Alan
me to
Moore
skip?
is the Brondo of comics, okay?
Do you want me to skip it?
No. What?
Oh,
Never.
Okay. Never. Okay.
Never.
Same shot exactly. Only now the Batman has walked across the panel and is about to disappear off the right-hand side with only the back of his costume visible. Here, as he does so, his face already vanished off the right side of the panel. Immediately beyond him, Police Commissioner Gordon starts to straighten up away from the side of the parked police vehicle, handing the half-full coffee cup to the surprised-looking patrolman without looking at him as he prepares to follow the Batman off panel. The silver-haired and trench-coated figure of the commissioner doesn't take his yes off the Batman for an instant as he prepares to follow him up the steps and into the interior of the asylum. The patrolman looks bemused as he takes the steaming cup unquestioningly from the police commissioner's hand. Batman walks silently on without saying a word. No dialogue.
Is that the end of this page? There's no more. There's no more for this panel.
Page 2.
Anyway? That is officially page 1. It took you an hour and almost 15 minutes to read that.
Page 8 of script, and we're at page 2 of comic.
He spent way too long pondering puddles, honestly. Yeah, and as Critical Blast says, damn it, that cup is clearly 3/4 full.
I don't know if he looks bemused as much as annoyed.
No, Jason, she still had another panel to go at that point, mate.
Mm-hmm.
Well.
Did I mention it's raining and it's nighttime and there are puddles?
You did. Still haven't got a Batman reveal. Oh my god.
No dialogue.
Yeah, no dialogue still. There's no dialogue on this next page either, really. All right. Carry on then. Let's see what he has to say about Two-Face in panel 5 in like an hour.
Page 2, panel 1. We are now inside the reception.
Hold on.
What?
Dean fucked up.
No, my comic rack shit itself. Try to resume.
It knew what you were trying to do and committed suicide.
It did. It committed suicide. There we go. It's working again. Is it working?
Awesome one says coffee and
good,
rain. Gotcha.
Yeah, exactly.
I discovered Comic Rack like 20 years ago. It was awesome.
Yeah, I don't know. I just have it on my computer. Okay.
Why is that written like a text box? Oh my fuck. Wait, Allie's not there yet. Never mind.
Because fuck you, that's why.
I'm fixing my nails at the same time as I read this.
You're just going to break them again.
Shh.
Page 8 of 39, page 2 of the comic book.
Yeah. Panel 1.
Okay. We are now inside the reception lobby of the asylum. It is quite softly lit, maybe with a subdued amber-yellow light, and in the foreground, facing away from us, we see a young receptionist seated behind the reception desk, pointing with one trembling hand towards the left of the panel as she gives directions to the Batman, who we see standing facing us, immediately beyond the desk. He is once more decapitated. Oh, Jesus. So early.
Wow.
By the upper panel border, so that we can't see him much below the chest as he stands there gazing down and listening to the girl as she gives him directions. The receptionist is looking up at the Batman's off-panel face, and she looks absolutely scared stiff. On the desk, in the foreground, we can maybe see a few items of person bric-a-brac. There are a pack of Marlboro cigarettes and a lighter, and there's maybe one of those stupid little novelty desk ornaments that reads, "You don't have to be crazy to work here, but it helps." We can probably also see the paperback book that the receptionist has been reading to while away the long, yellow-lit hours of her tedious night shift. I is The Comedians by Graham Greene. Looking beyond the girl, the desk, and the Batman, we can see the front doors of the asylum swing open as Police Commissioner Gordon enters the building in the wake of the shadowy and silent vigilante.
This is still the first panel. Holy crap.
As he comes through the doors, he looks towards us and towards the Batman in the foreground, quickening his pace to keep up with the longer-legged and younger crime fighter. No dialogue.
Well, they actually moved everything like on her desk to the second panel. You can't see any of that in the first panel at all. But holy crap, does that drag on? And you really don't need to keep establishing that. You really don't have to keep establishing that Batman's, just, not really in the shot yet. Like, we haven't revealed Batman yet. You've made that clear already. You can just carry on with, just keep that up until I say otherwise, and I would. So that's not a problem.
Is the book the actual book, or is there even a book on the desk?
There's like a flat ledger book sitting there.
Yeah, it's like a folder or something, yeah. You can barely see it.
It's like he didn't even. He like skimmed it.
Yeah, he's already sick of more shit. He's straight up sick of it. He's already sick of more shit, I'm telling you.
Panel 2.
Yep.
We are still slightly behind the receptionist, but maybe now we've changed angles so that we're looking at her over her other shoulder. Looking past her, we can see the Batman and Gordon heading away from us, deeper into the bowels of the asylum, with the Batman leading the way and Gordon still struggling to keep up. They're heading in roughly the direction that the receptionist was indicating. Last panel, in the foreground, the receptionist is trembling with delayed shock, maybe trying to fish a cigarette from her packet, but ending up spilling the whole pack all over her desk and her lap. See how it looks to you, and include it if it looks okay.
Yeah, that does
the predominance
she is
of
dropping
the receptionist. In the foreground, the main point of the panel is the figures of the Batman and the Commissioner vanishing down the corridor in the background. No dialogue.
Yeah, that actually, most of that panel was kept intact. They didn't change much of that there.
Ali, in that voice, say, "You bastards! I would rather date a spider or a rat than you. You make me touch your hands for stupid reasons. I hate you." What is that?
It's nothing.
What
Don't
is
worry
that
about
from?
it. Don't worry about it.
What is that from? Why is that funny?
Who's the artist? I want to know more about him, says Dragon Pisces. We said it earlier. I can't remember who it is now.
Not sure there's a reason to go on past the puddle writing.
Yeah, the puddle,
What
that
is
was
it?
pure puddle poetry.
It's from a very old YouTube video. Oh.
You were going to dwell on that forever, weren't you?
I was, yeah.
Keep reading.
Okay. We're on page 2, but he wants to remind us, panel 3, which is page 9 of script.
Yeah, well, by the time he got to this point in the script, it was like a year later. He hadn't actually read. Think about it. If you were reading all of this, you would forget what page you were on as well. You'd be like, what the fuck am I supposed to be drawing again? That was just panel 2? Holy shit. So now we're on panel 3. So this is that top row. Go.
Now, we are in the dimly lit and shadowy corridors of the asylum, lined with cell doors that lead off to either side. Each door looks very tough and reinforced, and maybe each has a little plate at the front with the name of the person detained therein, followed by a number. Perhaps, for example, we can see a plate with the legend Nigma, E0722 on it, somewhere in the foreground, just so that the reader gets the idea, with the rest of the nameplates on the doors too far away to be legible. Each door also
none of that's there.
has a small rectangular window with 3 stout bars across it. Not 4, 3. Since it is after lights out here, there is only darkness beyond the barred windows, save for whatever night lights the inmates may be using. Here, we are looking straight down the corridor from almost a floor-level shot. In the foreground, visible only up to the knees, we see the boots and lower legs of the Batman as he walks towards us down the corridor. Cape trailing behind him. Looking beyond him, we see Commissioner Gordon in roughly a full figure shot as he follows behind, puffing slightly as he struggles gamely to catch up. The asylum corridor is lit by dim ceiling lights arranged at intervals so that there are pools of puddles even of relative brilliance interspersed with stretches of twilight.
Rick.
If you know the effect I mean. Here, Batman's feet walk remorselessly towards us. No dialogue. Yes, enter. Oh, wait.
Oh, that's perfect. That's perfect. Ellie, now in that voice, say, for what? A meal? A succulent Chinese meal? I see you know your judo well, sir.
I'm sorry, I'll be quieter. Okay, thank you. I mean, I have no idea what you're doing.
Oh, busted.
So, I'm really sorry. I love you. Good night. Love you. Have math drink.
How dare you suppress her art?
She can't hear you.
Damn it.
I also spilled all over everything.
Right.
Hold on, I have to get a towel now.
Women are slugs.
Did you see what Jason shared in the DM group?
No, I did not. I haven't looked at that. I usually
God.
don't look at my DMs while I'm on a stream. Just keep
Hey,
everything.
wait. I just spilled water all over the wires underneath my computer, so I have to clean it up like right now.
All right. No, Herschel, I think that was her daughter.
Yes,
Which was
that was
like-
my midget.
Herschel's like her mum walked in on this trash fire.
No, that was my child.
She thinks she's English now, but better call the funny farm.
She has math tomorrow, so she's like, Mom, it's midnight. I want to sleep so that I can do math tomorrow. I have a very good kid.
Yeah, Ellie got told off by her own daughter.
I know. It's terrible. She's like, why are you messing around, Mom? I have to do algebra in the morning.
Oh, okay.
Oh, no. You, like, want to learn or whatever. Sorry.
Where were you even up to?
Hold on, I'm still making sure that I'm not gonna get electrocuted.
Right, okay. Yeah. That would be bad. If you got electrocuted, that would be bad. Then we would never get to hear the rest of this masterpiece of a script.
At least not in my voice. I'll have to read it a little quieter. I think I got it all.
Good job.
Thank you. I've broken 3 nails and spilled my water and woken up my child.
Yeah, this is an intense performance on Ellie's part.
It is. I'm waving my hands all over the place while I do this.
You almost have to.
Like and subscribe.
For Allie, like, fucking up everything.
Yeah. While we wait for Ellie to clean up, though, I would like to say thank you to all my new subscribers. I don't know if any of them are here right now, just quietly lurking, but I'm at 961. So it's been bouncing up and down all day. Like, I've been losing subscribers and gaining subscribers just as fast as each other. But, we've got less than 40 to go until I'm at 1,000. I appreciate all of you guys.
He does, too. Every, 10 minutes, he's like, Allie, I got to this many. And I'm like, good job.
Yeah, I tell everybody. I even went to my dad. I was like, Dad, look, I'm something now. People like me.
He's like, are you winning, son?
And I'm like, yes, Dad, I am.
You're the meme.
Yeah, that's no. How many nails have you broken? How many nails have you broken,
3
Ellie?
now.
Yeah, that is 2 since the stream started, Jason. You're right. And yeah,
Don't
3.
become like the actor who played the Joker, Ellie. Which one?
I do, actually. I have a bunch of hate subscribers, and they don't realize that they're the reason I even make videos, some person.
He absolutely does get off to dislike.
He's like, sub to Dean, like or dislike. He probably gets off to dislikes. Yeah, I know you were, Jason. I noticed that. Yeah, 2 more, because I was on 60 before, and then it went down to 59, and now it's on 61. So thank you, everyone. I appreciate you guys for joining.
Allie's Alan Moore script ASMR. Oh, God.
Yeah, I'm going to rename this stream to that. That's what I'll rename this to at the end of it.
Worst ASMR ever. And that's saying a lot. Okay.
Yeah.
Panel 4.
Wow.
Now, a half-figure to head and shoulders shot of Batman and Gordon in profile as they walk across the panel from left to right in the foreground. Batman, in the lead, has already walked across the panel and is about to vanish out of its right-hand side, with the front of his head already off panel and only the back of his cowl and cape visible here. Commissioner Gordon is just entering the panel over to the left.
Hold on a second, Ellie.
Half of him...
Hold on a second. Some person, Michael's here to play the Joker. If we get to the point where the Joker is in this book, that's when Michael takes over.
Mm-hmm.
That's assuming that, the Joker even shows up in this book eventually, if Alan Moore stops daddling.
He starts faffing off like a dandy.
Right?
The back half of him invisible off panel as he follows after the grim and silent caped figure. Looking between the Batman and Gordon, we get a good clear shot of the cell door that they are just passing. The plate on the front reads Dent H0751.
Harvey Dent, can we trust him?
I spilled on the rest of my desk, so I had to get the towel back.
Some of the greatest walking across a panel scenes ever. Moore is a genius.
Right?
Yeah, Michael Moore didn't even write the Joker into this book. That was all Bellend.
Yeah, all of that was improv by the artist. Moore didn't even know this happened.
He was still writing about puddles.
So,
This
Mr.
was
Moore,
actually
what gave you
called
the idea to have the Joker cripple Barbara? What?
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 Who's Barbara?
Who the fuck is Barbara?
This book was actually called The Puddle Joke, and it wasn't until Alan Moore got reined in by the artist.
That's funny. One of the hands clutching the outer bars from inside is a normal flesh tone pin. The other hand is a putrescent and contaminated green. From the shadowy recess beyond the 3 bars, Two-Face stares silently out at us. The light filtering in through the cell window picks out only the deformed half of his face, perhaps bilious green and twisted into a deranged snarl of malice as his mismatched yellow eyes follow the passage of the Batman and the Commissioner along the gloomy corridor. No dialogue.
I never realized how much of this book. I think it's because it is only just 2 pages, but I never realized how many panels have no dialogue in them. It's amazing that this script is going for so long when people aren't even talking.
Mm-hmm.
God damn it.
Artist. I'm not the colorist.
I'm not in the colorist.
He didn't do the colors too?
No, they would have been a colorist. We didn't look at that though.
Oh.
But yeah, and just
actually,
so you know, Ellie,
No, in
just
the
so you know,
credits it
they
said
made it
art and
purple,
colors.
not green. What?
In the credits, it did say art and colors by the same guy.
Oh, so he is the colorist. All right, yeah, he
Hmm.
was the colorist, but he decided to just stick it to Alan Moore one more time, and he made it purple instead of green.
Which is what he canonically is.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's kind of like a
There's
weird burn. Why would it
some
be green?
There's some green in his hair, kind of.
I don't know why his hair is green either. That's supposed to be
It's
white.
supposed to
on
be
that side.
white. Yeah.
Maybe it's the
Oh, wow.
light.
Maybe the Joker lent him some dye. I don't know.
The Joker doesn't dye his hair, I swear.
All right.
Maybe
Panel
he's
that's
five.
actually
maybe
something
it's
that really bugs me.
methamphetamines.
Not even no. All jokes aside, yeah, that is something that has always bugged me, yeah, because the Heath Ledger Joker in The Dark Knight was perfect, except for the fact that he wore face paint and like had hairspray color. Like that really, I don't know why, it really annoys me. Like, why couldn't he just be bleached? Because that's
Because
that's
they
why
were-
he's hair paint.
Because they were trying to make it realistic.
Nah, that's some bullshit. You had Two-Face in that fucking movie.
Yeah,
That is
but
some straight up
Two-Face
bullshit.
Two-Face was like all scars and fucked up looking still.
No,
It
he
wasn't
wasn't.
like-
He was literally a dead body. You could see his bones. He would not have survived marks like that, but they claim it's more realistic.
I didn't mean scars. I meant like burns.
Yeah, but it was so burned that he had like
Melted.
no muscle or anything on his face. You could see bits of his bone on his chin and everything.
Yeah, but he wasn't like, I don't know.
Anybody with that many burns on their head would be dead, Ellie. Like that's
I know. I think that's the point, though, that instead of being dead, he's like so angry and crazy that he like forced himself to be alive and in pain. I thought that was the point.
I don't know.
Was it Burns? It was Burns in Dark Knight. Yeah.
Yeah, in Dark Knight, it
in
was
Dark
straight up
Knight,
all burned off. Yeah.
it like melted off of his whole body, or not his whole body, like
The
off
top
his
half
side.
of him. Yeah, like his shoulder and everything was probably a bit fucked too.
Do I look like a guy with a plan?
I mean, but
cars.
it did look cool.
It
The
did
yeah,
look
it
cool.
looked
I'm not
baller.
complaining with that. My whole problem was the
rule
fact that the
cool.
Joker had face paint. He should have been white.
I mean,
Yeah,
he
oh
was
well, carry
technically
on,
white.
continue.
Yeah,
This
I
is a
love
bit
the
of a
effect of the
tangent.
Jack Nicholson one where he was wiping off flesh-colored
Yeah,
paint off of
That
a
was
white
cool.
face. That was
exactly.
cool as fuck.
That was
That was
really
cool.
well done too. Even though it was like obvious how they did it, but it was really like it looked good when he did it.
What do you mean it was obvious how they did it?
Like people would just go, "Oh yeah, he's got white on his bloody thing," but in actuality, they painted his face white and then painted this skin color stuff over the top of it, and he
Yeah.
actually
Oh,
did
yeah.
that
White
stuff.
stuff is like semi-permanent stuff. They had to scrub him for
Yeah.
like 2 hours afterwards to get it all off.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
actually like, the Batman has some good movies. Go watch any Batman movie when you're done with this.
I don't know. I don't really
The only good part of the Tim Burton ones was the villains.
You're lucky Kemosabe isn't here right now. He would, like, he loves those Batman movies. They are his favorite.
I was very disappointed. I was like 20, 28 or something when I first watched them.
Really?
Very disappointed.
Like, I was honestly like 4 or 5.
They had been built up my whole life. And then I sit down and I watched them and I was like, wow, that fucking sucked. Like, the only
Batman
good thing about
89.
them was the villains. And I do not like his Batman. He is boring.
Yeah, I'd have been 12 because I saw it when it came out.
The chat's talking about the colors of this book. I've only ever seen this version. I didn't even know it was a recolor until you guys all started saying that. I need to look up the original Killing Joke now to see what it looked like. But either way, carry on.
Or something? Okay.
I don't know. They're saying Mo's saying it looked like a fever dream.
Probably did.
Yeah.
Panel 5.
So this is the middle panel with Two-Face, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Alan described a whole panel ago.
Well,
in page
yeah. Then he described a whole panel ago. Yeah.
Sort of. Because now we see the panel from Two-Face's point of view as he stands within his cell, peering round as far as he can to watch the pair as they turn right down an adjacent corridor. All we can see of Two-Face here are his hands as they hand onto the cell windows bars in the foreground. Looking through the bars, we can see across the corridor and down the turnoff that the Batman and Gordon have taken. The Batman is still in the lead and facing away from us, almost out of sight. Gordon is struggling along behind, maybe darting an anxious glance back over his shoulder towards us and the deformed criminal following the commissioner with his eyes from within the cell. No dialogue.
Amazing.
I don't even
the
think
artist
that
kind
happened.
of mixed that all up. The artist mixed all of this up and decided to, like include panel 5 and 6. Like he included 6 and 5. And he could just kind of like, he's drawing bits wherever he wanted to. Like with panel 2, that was described in panel 1, but then he put all the stuff on the desk in panel 2. Like this artist don't give a fuck what Alan Moore thinks. And Shifty, I half agree with you. We've never had a great Batman in a movie. We've had like great Batman movies, but none of them are Batman like you see in the comics or the cartoons.
We've never had Batman moments, and I hate to fucking dredge up the revenant of this, but the saving Martha scene. That was
Alan, you're so damn clever.
Oh. And yet, no, the warehouse scene in Batman vs. Superman is probably my favorite scene in any Batman in live action. But it's by far not my favorite Batman, Like, it's not my favorite Batman movie at all. But it's a great
I hate the rewrite. I hate the when Joss Whedon added the quippy shit. Like, that's not Bruce.
Yeah, no, not at all. Not at all. That we don't even talk about that, honestly. Go watch the Snyder Cut, for real.
I don't even think Ben Affleck would have been a bad Batman. Honestly,
Joss Whedon had to do that.
Work with.
Joss Whedon had to do that, or else people wouldn't be like, "That's Joss Whedon."
Yeah, but remember when Ben Affleck was supposed to make a Batman movie? He was going to direct it and star in it. If that had been made, it probably would have been the best Batman movie ever made. But it never happened. So, oh well. We do need Batman and frickin' Robin. Shifty's right.
All right, panel 6. Now, over in the right of the foreground, we can see a little of the door of a maximum security cell. The plate on the door says name unknown, 0801. Immediately beyond the door, standing at ease with his back turned to the wall, the door is set into, we can see some of a security guard. Up to you whether we can see his head or whether he's so close that it's off panel above. The main thing about him is the bunch of keys hanging from his belt beside the powerful-looking holstered handgun. Powerful-looking.
The artist was like, it's going to look better if we do 9 panels on this page as well. So he's added extra panels, specifically with 5 and 6, I mean. That's what the artist has done. That's why it's confusing now, because we're actually up to panel 7 on this page, Ellie.
Well,
but on the script, it says panel 6, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the
so
way,
he's-
for the record, what year was Killing Joke done? 89, something like that?
I don't know, 80 something.
Joker has well established himself as a maniacal genius, slaughtering fool. That guard should in no way be that close to the window of that fucking door.
Yeah, that's a good point, Michael. That is a very good point. Name unknown or
Maybe-
not, they would know that that's the Joker in there, and he would not stand that close with his
Maybe
eyes
he's a
closed and stuff, just like not
secret-
caring.
Maybe he's a secret minion.
Yeah, he works for the
88.
Joker.
Thank you, Wolva.
Joker has escaped multiple times using the people that work at the asylum to just work for him.
Yeah.
So that's
Just
not
make him
completely
crazy.
far-fetched. Harley Quinn being the
stands-
ultimate example of that.
Yes. He stands in profile, facing towards the left of the panel from the right. Looking past him, we can see the Batman and Commissioner Gordon approaching us down the long, straight corridor, with the Batman still in the lead. Batman, as he walks, is directly beneath one of the overhead ceiling lights, so that the top of his hood and his shoulders are lit, but so that his face and the rest of his body are a mass of solid shadow. Gordon,
What?
somewhat better lit and more visible, follows along behind. No dialogue.
It's
Wait,
like he's
Alan, who's
picturing
in this
these
other
panels.
door?
No, but a few times I've been thinking, right? The way he's describing these, it's like, you know, when you said at the start, it's like he thinks of it as a movie, right? He's describing these panels as if they're in widescreen, as if they're in, you know, television or movie screen width, which is why we keep getting all these weird like descriptions of things that obviously aren't going to fit. Like when he said the cop light, like, you know, the lights on the cop car. It's like clearly they're not going to fit in a narrow panel like this, but he's picturing widescreen.
Yeah, I don't think he's even picturing a narrow panel.
I don't think he's picturing a comic book at all. I think he's picturing a movie.
This would still be obnoxious for a movie.
Well, yeah, but it's Alan Moore, so that's just baseline. Alan Moore is obnoxious.
Fucking dickhead. I hate you, Alan Moore.
Yeah, how do you think the artist felt?
If the artist doesn't hate him, then I don't understand why. All right, panel 7, presumably, except not.
Yeah, this is the end now, right? This would be panel 9.
Now we are behind the Batman's right shoulder as he faces
Yep.
away from us, so that all we see of him is a little of the back of his head and one shoulder over towards the left of the panel. Looking past this, we can see a 3/4 length shot of the security guard as he willingly unlocks the cell door for Batman.
That's
Perhaps he
hilarious,
even
Shifty. That is absolutely
Silly.
hilarious.
What?
He's like, I bought this and read this at the summer of '89 when he was 9 years old. His mum asked the comic shop owner if it had any objectionable content, and he was like, nope. You're like, lol, he totally lied.
Aw. What a based comic owner.
Yeah,
Good job.
based comic owner in the '80s. Nice.
Good job. He was like, this kid obviously needs to read this book. And it will be sad if I don't let it happen. Hold on, I'm gonna stop my closet doors quick because that might help buffer this sound. My kid's
Some
bed is
person
right
says, Ellie, some person says, careful, Alan will curse you with a messed up knee.
Ha! Tricks on him. I already have
Yeah.
one.
Joke's on him. I've already got one.
My knees are fine. I don't want to be cursed.
Don't worry, I can just put a pillow under it, Dean.
You can put a pillow under your knee and it'll be fine, huh? Is that how it works?
Yeah.
Does that work? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, whatever.
Do.
So now
where
we're
am
up to
I?
the next
Oh.
page, right? This would be the next page. Or are you still describing
This
this
is still
panel?
panel 7. Mhm.
Holy fuck.
Script page 11.
Perhaps he even salutes with one hand as he unlocks the cell door with the other, also
Which
in
he
the middle
does.
ground, but a little more over towards the right. In the middle, towards the right, we can see the Commissioner Gordon. He is looking up at the largely off-panel Batman with a somehow troubled look, trying to deduce something from Batman's expression. The security guard, conversely, looks almost honored to be opening a door for the famous Batman, perhaps staring in awed adoration. No dialogue.
Gordon's not in this panel at all, and the guard is giving him a little salute, but that's all he got. That's basically all he put in there from that entire thing. All right, I gotta go back over here now.
Wolvo has point. He phrases everything really weird.
Finally, we're at the Joker. Whoops. Michael, you ready? You got them pipes working? God damn it.
Panel 8.
Focus!
There we
We
go.
are now inside the cell, looking towards the partly open door from the semi-darkness within as the Batman enters. The light of the corridor behind
with
him
a face here. Which is it going to be?
throws him into silhouette as he stands framed in the doorway, once more rendering his face invisible. Maybe behind him, through the closing door, we catch a glimpse of the asylum security guard as he pulls the door quickly shut behind the Batman. As I see this
Michael,
picture,
you're being called out, mate.
we are perhaps looking up at Batman from a slightly depressed angle as he enters with the light behind him. No dialogue.
Yeah, this is pretty standard stuff. Like, you really don't need that much yammering on for this. You could have just said the room is dark, and every artist in existence would have drawn Batman as a silhouette, just knowing that, because that's how Batman's drawn.
Yeah.
But yeah, continue on.
Panel 9, which is
This
not
will take
panel
like
9.
8 4-hour shows to read this entire script. You're not wrong, Shifty. You're not wrong.
We have now pulled back further into the cell so that we can see the Batman full figure as he stands facing us in front of the now completely closed door, still with the light behind his head as he stands with the barred window positioned neatly behind his cowl, throwing his face into darkness, imprisoning me. Right in the foreground of the panel, we see part of the surface of a fold-down card table that has been folded down from the cell wall and is lit from above by the radiance of an off-panel wall lamp, weak and yellowish and sickly. Entering the panel over on the right are the hands of the person who is sitting just off-panel in that direction, facing towards the left, and dealing out a hand of patience. The cards.
Ellie, the Joker
What?
should have a glass. Mo says the Joker should have a glass of water next to his cards. An opportunity for more puddles.
Panels of the storm. Nice.
That's funny. Awesome one.
Oh, where was
Panel
I?
9, if that is your real name.
And I'm just saying, Joker would have taken any one of the pieces of this fucking table or one of the cards themselves and slit that fucking guard's throat for shits and giggles.
Yeah, they wouldn't let the
Yeah.
Joker have a table. That's outrageous.
He got good behavior treatment.
He got good behavior. God damn it.
Uh,
Every time I
the
minimize the
cards.
comic, it like resets. I don't know why.
The cards, some of which are visible to us here, are spread out in columns on the small table before him, and he is systematically picking up cards from the deck and laying them down on one of the column. Here we see him with a card, poised, about to lay it down on the end row. His hands have long and clever fingers as they deftly manipulate the cards. They are
You could just
also
say he's
chalk
playing
white
solitaire.
and
What
completely
shit
drained
form of solitaire is this with 4 columns?
of any trace
It's
of
the Joker.
living color. Batman just stands by the cell door and stares at both us and the off-panel owner of the hands. No
Right.
dialogue.
now we're at page 12 of script, page 3 of comic, as he's written.
That's madness. That's an average of 4 pages per page for a comic book. See, look, hold on, yeah. Look, I know Alan Moore's a very famous writer, yeah, but any writer out there listening
But
to this,
I'll be right back.
yeah, no worries. Any writer out there listening to this, honestly, do not do this shit. You will just drive your artist insane, and they'll never want to work with you again. You'll be sitting there on issue 2 wondering why your artist quit on you and you can't get a new one, because this is unacceptable. You're wasting too much of my time When I'm spending more time reading these panel descriptions than I would be actually drawing the panels, and that's a really, really bad thing. If you need to be told, honestly. But I don't think you would. I've never worked with anyone who does anything like this. I've worked with a few artists and a few writers, and I've never seen this in person. So, yeah, don't be like Alan Moore, okay?
Alan, do you really have to describe the Joker's hands in such homoerotic terms? Can you not, though?
He's like, yes, I do, Wolverine. You don't understand, okay? People wouldn't we wouldn't be able to. You need to really be able to picture it in your mind. I'm Alan Moore, and I like gay fingers. Like, I don't know. Would I do it for a chest full of magic jewels? It depends on
if they were blessed by the wizard.
Yeah, what kind of magic are they? Do they do things? Is it like a one-time use thing? What kind of magic are they? How are they magic? That would depend on how I answer. But yeah. One day Batman's gonna walk in on Joker having a ferocious wank. Yeah, Joker playing solitaire. Got it. Exactly right. You really don't need to explain too much. I could have done that without you telling me about his weird gay fingers. Straight up.
But it's all part of the plan.
But yeah, did you see, Michael? Dragon Pisces imagines that Ellie would sound more like the Joker than you.
Dragon Pisces said at the top of the stream that they didn't even know what this book was.
Well, yeah, he's a youngin'. He's a young lad. But yeah, he's been subscribed to my channel for quite a while. And he
just know that you're going to get as much shit as every other person in the chat does, Dragon Pisces.
Yeah, no, but he's been around for some of the worst Comics Mate streams ever. He might have even seen Tugrats live. So he's seen some shit. There's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can throw at him that he can't deal with himself, right? How do you know? How do I know what the Killing? How do you not know what the Killing Joke is? Maybe, the Killing Joke's famous and all right, but I had heard about it long before I ever read it. It's that kind of famous. He might have passed it up when he saw it in person, Oh, so no, never mind. He says he knows what it is and he had read this book, but he was asking what we were doing. Well, we have the actual script, as you probably know by now, and it's just the ramblings of a madman. They're big dick pills. All of them. You only need one big dick pill magic bean or jewel or whatever it was.
But you're taken two.
Yeah, sure. You take two, but you don't need a whole chest full of dick size increasing jewels. Some uppers and downers, tons of acid, that sort of jewels. Maybe we'll talk. How big's this chest? There. What any of this is slipping away with every passing minute. Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. That's neither here nor there, Jason. Right? At the end of the day, you knew this was going to be a long, convoluted mess because it's something written by Alan Moore. But none of us could have predicted how much of a convoluted mess it would be, And I can still put this back on the screen. It's just walls of text. I can't zoom out or control it or anything.
It's a leftist meme, everybody.
It is just walls of text. I would be upset if I saw this. And considering it's Alan Moore, you would think that he would at least put some paragraphs, hit enter once in a while, mate. Shit. Right?
I thought you were going the other way with that. And yeah, it's Alan Moore, and I'm already pissed.
Yeah, it's Alan Moore, and I'm already pissed. But no, it would, honestly, man, if you're working with an amateur, you might expect something like that, right? But if you get told, let's say you work at DC and they turn around and go, oh man, you're going to be the artist on this next Alan Moore book we're getting. You're going to expect a well put together script, not 40 pages for 12 pages of work that is just non-stop wall of text. There is no real gap between it unless he decides that, I might hit enter this one time so we can go to page 5 and start that at the top of the next page. But that's about as much as you get, really.
Well, he hasn't found the all caps key, so I don't think he's just sporadically smashing enter once in a while.
Yeah, just sporadically, just every now and then, yeah.
Oh, Dying Days. Is that an actual quote?
You see, if I, as a humble writer, don't fastidiously paint the scene with my textured evocations, how will an artist ever be able to visualize its splendor and nuance? Is that something he really say? I feel like that would be something he really say, and it's a lot simpler than you think, Alan Moore, honestly. Alan Moore uses very old computer to write his scripts. I bet his caps lock key is broken. No shit. You might be right. Alan uses chalk and stone. No, we already established that he uses feces and beard hair, awesome one. So
on white rubber walls.
On white rubber walls, yeah. When it says no dialogue, it's like a breath of fresh air.
That is the only time we've been allowing Allie to breathe, actually. So yes.
Yeah, well. But what can you say? I mean, how many? Like, hold on, because I've missed half of the comments here. I'm going to scroll up and we'll have a look at what some of the other people have said.
Most of it's about dick pills.
Most of it's about dick pills, huh?
So Morph is non-binary.
Yeah, as he will. Oh, I did hear about that, man. I'm fucking out. Straight up, I'm out. I don't care what anyone says.
Oh, the animation is shit too.
Yeah, Magneto's voice sounds really messed up, and they said that they were updating Gambit and Rogue's relationship for modern audiences. Me and Michael, Odin were debating about this earlier today, and he's like, that doesn't mean that they're going to ruin it. I'm like, it does mean they're going to ruin it.
They Thanos snapped Rogue's ass away. There is no greater crime.
She's got no tits and no ass now, and for lack of a better word, Gambit is not going to be nearly as horny, like lack of a better word. He's not going to be nearly as horny as he used to be.
It fucking explodes. What's the move with Wolverine that he's doing?
I was thinking the same thing. Is Wolverine's hands about to blow to pieces? What's going to happen there? But I'm not dealing with it. I'm just not going to deal with it. I might pirate it and give it a watch, but I'm not in the mood. Not in the mood at all for that shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, Wolverine, as he says here, as he willingly unlocks the door for Batman, as opposed to what, unwillingly? I mean, yes, Batman could have just forced him to. Let's be honest, Batman.
And he says he's going to need more than one panel of Batman doing that.
Yeah, you would need more than one panel of showing Batman strong arming the guy into unlocking it. That is true. But yeah, most shots of a puddle in a movie ever. Yeah, if only.
DD, no, it's meant to be satire, but I'm humbled to be writing on his level.
Honestly, it was completely believable. It was completely believable.
As fuck.
Yeah, you could have just lied and said it was true, and I would have believed you, man. I wouldn't have even questioned it. It's in all caps because he hates you.
But
can you guys hear me?
As far as
welcome back.
Okay.
I mean, no, yeah, you're right. No, we can't hear you.
Oh my god.
Yes.
Yeah, we went on a little bit of a tangent there for a second, but it's okay. Welcome back, Ellie.
Thank you.
I want to get to this point where the Joker speaks so we can hear Michael's Joker.
Okay. So you guys are ready then?
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't see the script. But okay.
Oh, wow. I've only been here 2 months and they've paired me up with Alan freaking Moore. They must really believe in me. Said the new artist. And then all the senior artists are like, yeah, sure, kid.
Chuckle. Page 3, panel 1, but is page 12 of script.
You already read that, didn't you?
You did panel 1.
No, I didn't.
Oh, what the fuck? This is a full page splash picture? What?
That's not...
That is not what is being depicted upon screen.
Yeah. Yeah, he was like, fuck you, we're not doing that as a page. I'm just going to put that at the bottom half of this last page. Because this is the Joker and Batman, right?
Because he changed out the walking through the hallways part.
Yeah.
There is no
what
splash
a badass. Page. What a badass. This artist does not give a fuck. He was like, yeah, fuck you, we're not doing that.
It was like his little ways of sticking it to Alan Moore.
There is no splash page. There is no war embossing say. There is no queen.
Don't even get me started. There's nothing anymore. And yeah, awesome one. Yeah, no, I didn't. Man, I knew it was going to happen from the very start. Like, I have not been excited about X-Men 97 since it was announced because I knew they would do something like that. And non-binary wasn't even a thing in 1997. It's not a thing now. But that, like, let's not, get into that.
We can talk about it another time.
Yeah, we'll do that on an actual Comics May stream because I've got that
next week on Game Over.
Yeah, exactly. Is
All right.
this the Ellie? Look at what we're looking at on the actual screen. Is that the splash page?
Yeah.
Yeah. The artist straight up said, "Nah, fuck you. We're not making a splash page out of this."
Yeah.
This is a full-page splash picture. We have changed angles since the last panel on page 2, so that we are standing without backs to the top. To the now off panel door, looking towards the fold-down table, so that we can see the table, the cards, the wall lamp set just above it, and the tall and gangly figure sitting hunched on the left-hand side of the table, playing cards. It is the Joker.
Felix is like, "You put me to sleep twice. Maybe you should just go to bed, man, if you're that tired. I'm sorry."
He sits with his head and shoulders leaning back slightly, so that only his white hands are within the circle of the strongest light cast by the small wall lamp as it shines onto the tabletop. Beyond that, his form is more shadowy, although we can still see certain key details picked out by the weak. It says weak with 2 E's. Douche.
Well done.
Lights.
Well done, Alan Moore.
Green
Ellie,
glint.
we need you to stop the script and read some person's comment in that
Yeah,
video.
these Alan Moore quotes are getting wild.
Batman's penis was solidly conical, not unlike the shape of an Egyptian obelisk under a starry night, with the moon gleaming off the ebony shaft with a sparkling fire.
Well done.
Is that a real quote?
Yeah, everything that the chat has said is officially real quotes from Alan Moore. When Ellie reaches page 3, we be free.
It has been an hour and 3 minutes.
It's been 2 hours. I'm looking
2
at the thing
hours.
right now. Yeah. And that's how I became gay, says Akuma. Welcome, Akuma.
How's it going, Akuma?
You're welcome. It's not the first time I've turned someone gay.
And it won't be the last.
Oh no. Don't say that.
Poor Ellie and her curse.
I know.
I mean,
Joker
between
speaking yet?
now and then, though, there's going to be a broken bed, though. So, I mean, plus side to something.
Although we can still see certain key details picked out by the weak lights, the green glint of the hair at his brow line where the light catches it, and the whiteness of the forehead beneath. We can see a little of the bone-white bridge of the nose, and similarly the upper cheeks above the bone. The eyes, however, as well as the mouth and the lower face in general, are in shadow. Over on the right, we see Batman, as he drags the room's only other chair up towards the small table, preparing to sit down. But he is still standing there, dragging the chair into position with one hand. His upper chest, head and shoulders are all in shadow, well above the light cast by the relatively low down wall lamp mounted just above the table. The whole top of the page is solid black, with the actual image area quite small, and down towards the bottom, if that looks okay.
Right.
The opening quote, rather than being in a rectangular caption box, is lettered in white on black on the solid and oppressive.
Oppressive. Is that even a word? I don't think that's a word.
No, it should be oppressive.
Yeah.
Darkness at the top for the page. As the Batman pulls up a chair, the Joker completely ignores him and continues to play patience.
It's not solitaire, it's something called patience.
Patience is
Not
a solitaire
even
game.
looking.
I was going to say that, yeah.
I didn't know that.
Solitaire is not just Klondike.
Oh, whatever.
What would
Forget
you
hard
do for a
words.
Klondike bar?
Not even looking up as the Batman drags his chair up to the table. His white hands deftly snap a card down onto one of the rows, hence the source of the small sound effect, which is the first sound that we've heard. The title and the credits all go somewhere down towards the bottom of the page. Caption white on black.
This is the Joker, I think.
Is it? I don't know. Did it say
Doesn't-
no dialogue?
It does. No, it says caption white on black.
Yeah, well, first of all, there's no credits on this page at all. I just scrolled down to have a look. And yeah, that would be the Joker. So you can just read that there on the screen, can't you, Michael?
There were these two guys in a lunatic asylum.
Not bad, not bad. I didn't hate it.
Small FL card being played. FNAP.
Yeah, now it's going to be 40 minutes before we get to hear the next Joker line.
FNAP.
Yeah.
Title: The Killing Joke. Credits: Alan Moore, writer; Brian Bolland, artist; Len Wein, editor; blank colorist; blank letterer.
Len Wein edited this?
None of that is here. They just skipped that entirely. He was like, nah, fuck you. I'm taking out your title page.
Title page
Now
at the
we're
front of the
on-
book, bitch.
Yeah.
Ostensibly page 4, which is page 13 of script.
That is fucking insane. Honestly. Like, that is... I don't have the words to describe how fucking unacceptable that is. I don't care how much you love the sound of your own voice or how smart you think you are, Alan Moore. That is outrageous. You should be no further. Like, I would take at most 1 page per page of script, you know? Like, you could, if you really wanted to, you could split it up like that. But for you to be giving me an average of 4... It was 3 or 4 pages, wasn't it? Average, just for one script, like 1 page of the comic book. You got to go fuck yourself, mate. Like, that's not how this shit works. Completely unacceptable. And I would fall asleep, just like Felix is falling asleep. I would fall asleep just trying to do my fucking job. How dare you?
The Killing Joke is one of the worst things I've ever written.
Yeah. I've actually heard Alan Moore say that. That is a real Alan Moore quote.
Wow.
Dean does the Batman
Well-
voice. I don't know if I can do a Batman voice. Is it the Batman voice? I'm Batman.
Hello.
Lower. I'm Batman. Lower. I am Batman.
Boom, bop, boom, bop, boom, bow, bow.
Bop. Bop, bop, bop. Skid it up. That's what Batman says when he
Hearts
comes
on
in, yeah.
fire,
Yeah.
real viral.
See, we've lost that. We've become delusional after this. It's been too long. Barry
No,
White
no,
deep. I don't think my voice goes that deep, some person.
I would absolutely
you've
be
hit my-
singing that anyway.
Yeah, I've hit my controllable bass at that point.
I have Mbop on vinyl, okay?
Old Man River.
All right.
Yeah, no, my voice
Page
doesn't go that
4,
deep. Some.
panel 1. And the first thing it says is, now another 9 panels.
Oh shit, Dragon Pisces says to quote more, the Killing Joke is one of the worst things I've ever written.
Yeah, I said that a second ago. Yeah.
Oh,
Because
Yeah.
that's a real, like, I've heard him say that before. I've seen that
But
interview.
his first sentence on this is, now another 9 panels.
Holy fuck. Now another 15 pages.
Sweet chariot.
Hello, I came to talk.
In
I'm
this
Batman.
first one,
Snap.
we are looking across the table through the eyes of the now off-panel Joker as he stares across at Batman, the Batman, who is now seated on the opposite side of the table, his black-finned gloves resting calmly on the tabletop. Beyond that, we can only see a glimpse of his chest, maybe with the jet black cloak hanging open slightly to reveal a sliver of the yellow and black
Stupid,
emblem
sexy
beneath.
Batman.
Although not all of it. Other than that, the rest of Batman is completely invisible in the shadows beyond the halo of the lamp. He's moved from being obsessed with puddles to being obsessed with the lamp. Mounted above the card table.
The lamp
Perhaps in
is
the
his puddle
deep
now.
that has been mounted. Perhaps in the deep shadows obscuring Batman's head and shoulders, we can see 2 glints of white where his eyes are situated as the wall's lamplight refracts. What? Refracts.
Refract. Yeah, refracts. That's a word involving light.
It's
G'day,
what
Spectacular Umbreon. Welcome.
From the mirror contact lenses that he wears to make his eye slits look blank and white all the time. He wears contacts?
No, I always thought it was like lenses as part of his mask. I never thought it was contact lenses.
I always thought it was lenses as part of his mask, or you could see his eyeballs and he just wore fucking eyeshadow.
Apparently,
Yeah, no, I
he's
hate
wearing
that. That's another
contacts.
problem I've always had with the Batman movies.
That's hilarious. Fuck you.
No,
Apparently,
it's
he wears
fucking stupid.
contacts now.
Okay.
Uh,
Hello, I came to talk.
he's wearing Marilyn Manson, Rob Zombie contact lenses.
Some person's like, you don't have to read the whole thing. This is true. We're not going to read the whole thing.
We're only reading the first, what, 5 pages? 6, 7? Where are we at now? Oh my god.
I don't know. I think we're only on page 3 or something, man.
In the foreground, all we can see of the Joker are his white hands entering the picture in the foreground, as I just said, picking up another card and about to lay it down in the same fashion as before, still seemingly oblivious to the sheer presence of the huge, dark figure sitting opposite him across the card table. Also visible on the table, and I probably should have mentioned this on page 2 or 3, for which apologies, are
Holy
the two
fuck.
discarded jokers from the back that the pale lunatic is playing with, laying face up on top of one another. The blanched and leering face on the card is perhaps modeled after the original playing card design that gave Jerry Robbins the idea for the Joker, which I believe is illustrated in Steranko's first book of comics. The face is evil and perverted and depraved.
Hold on, I have problems with everything you just said. First of all, he made him go back a page. Like, look, that's not on, like, he put that in up here. See?
No.
He made him go back and add this afterwards, a page later in the script, when he could have easily scrolled up and added that to the script, rather than just, like, rambling on the way he is. Secondly,
the other side of it, too, is, like, he's described the Joker as playing a Joker card down when he's got them separated from the deck.
Did he say that? That's fucking ridiculous. My main problem was that, like, the Joker was based off of The Man Who Laughs. Everybody knows that. It's not like, I mean, it's based off a Joker, you know, but that was more just like you didn't want to call him the Jester or anything like that. He's supposed to be an evil clown, and he's based off of The Man Who Laughs, and it is very obvious when you see that movie, that old black and white movie, which is now actually in public domain, so we could just watch that on this channel if you want to.
Jason Black, artist. This is why you don't get splash pages.
Exactly.
I like Dragon Pisces joke. What do you give to the man who has every fetish? More. Maybe Dean wants to be Australia's Mauler Longman.
No.
I'm not saying anything.
What's Mauler Long? I don't know who Mauler is. I feel like I should know who that. I know that name. What? Who's Mauler?
Well,
Mauler with the gas mask. Yeah, I know who Mauler is.
The Batman says 2 lines.
Yeah, hello. I came to talk. I'm Batman. I came to talk.
Wow.
Hello,
Wait,
Joker.
does he say I'm Batman in the script? Oh, no, he doesn't.
He says I'm Batman all the
comic.
time. Have you never seen how it should have ended? He always says I'm Batman. Because I'm Batman.
Yeah, but he didn't in this just now. I thought maybe he did. Anyway.
No.
Panel 2.
Rabbit Hole. G'day, D-Wags. Welcome, mate. Bow.
What's up, D-Wag? Panel 2.
Change angle so that we're now just behind the Batman, or better still, looking through his eyes so that we can only see his weirdly gauntleted
What?
hands. It says that. I read it how it says. Okay? Hands resting calmly.
Gauntleted. You're right, it does say that.
On the card-covered tabletop. Across the table, we see the Joker sitting so that once again only his brow, hairline, nose, and upper cheeks are illuminated, his eyes and his expression still invisible. We can see his white hands. One of them places the card we saw him pick up last panel down on the end of a row, with a small accompanying sound effect. He continues to completely ignore the Batman. Small effects, card being played. Nap.
But you know, any artist worth their salt, right? All you had to say was, Joker's face is also mostly in shadow, and that's what any artist worth their salt would have drawn that. Like, you didn't need to, mention that the nose and the upper bit of the cheek and all the blah, blah, blah. Like, shut up, Alan Moore. Yeah, my English teacher would be very disappointed in this writing. You're damn right he would. Or she. I don't know who your English teacher is. But yeah.
I really hate it when people say stuff like, the hand sets the thing. Like, it's terrible. All you have to do is say, Joker sets it down.
I mean, he's still just playing solitaire. They could have just said that the entire time, like he's just still playing the game. And like the artist would have drawn stuff like this anyway.
Hey, Caroline.
Alan Moore loves the sound of his own voice. G'day, Ice Queen. Love it.
So now we're on page 4 of comic, ostensibly, but page 14 of script.
That's outrageous. That is absolutely fucked. For real.
Panel 3.
Panel 3.
Page
so now we're
4.
up to this one here. Okay.
Oh, we're still on page 4. Okay, page 4, panel 3. Now we look down on them from above, perhaps, as they sit facing each other across the table. All we can really see of the Joker are his white hands and a little of the top of his head as he sits there beneath us. He's just picking up another card, about to lay it down. He still seems totally oblivious to the Batman's presence.
Why does Alan Moore write like this? This is actually driving me insane. And it goes like this for the entire script, no doubt, because we only have 12 pages of comic and it's like 40 pages of script. So why does this do that? Why does it continue to do this? Like he's already established these things, like just like when they were outside with the puddles and the gate and everything, he's established these things once, and that's all you need to do because obviously we're still in the same place the next panel. You don't need to keep describing these things over and over and over again.
My old gay.
Fuck you, I'm convinced he gets paid by the word.
He
has to. This is super fucking gay. Very gay. Am I allowed to say that? Are you still allowed to say something super fucking gay? Anyway.
Yeah.
Dragon Pisces said it in the chat, so yeah.
Yeah. Gay, Ghey, YouTube gods. Clearly has lost possession of his Yiddish cup. What?
Batman.
Speaking of the Jews.
Batman is saying things, though.
All right. I've been thinking lately about you and me, about what's going to happen to us in the end. We're going to kill each other, aren't we?
Dun, dun, dun.
That's all that's in that panel.
Oh, look. Yay. Panel 4.
Yay.
Now,
this whole script is probably his way of saying, fuck you.
Looking from a point on the table towards the door. In some ways, this single image contains the whole of the forthcoming story in it, at least symbolically, so I suppose I'd better describe it carefully, as opposed to how I've described everything thus far.
Right, yeah.
In the foreground, we have the table. The Batman's hands enter from the left of the picture, laying calmly on the tabletop, while the Joker's bleached hands enter the panel from the right, and are just laying the card we saw him pick up last panel down with a snap. Looking beyond this, along the length of the fairly small cell, we see the cell door and the barred window. Looking in through the window, his face anxious as he glances into the cell as if to check up on Batman, we see Commissioner Gordon's face. The two adversaries face each other across the card table in the foreground, while looking between them, we see Gordon's face staring out from behind bars. Also on the table in the foreground, we see the two discarded Jokers lying there face up and leering horribly at the dark ceiling overhead.
This honestly is like he just loves to talk too much, or like it's super wordy for no reason at all. Because naturally, right, you don't need to tell me the hands and stuff are going to be there. You'd be like, spin it around, show the little gateway bit where Gordon's looking through the window, right, and just have them still sitting there at the table. And I'm going to put the hands there anyway. Like that's what you would do. Otherwise, it's going to look like they're not there at all. Like you need to. These are things that you don't need to tell artists to do. These are just things that artists will do automatically.
He doesn't
It's
trust them.
Yeah, no, obviously he doesn't trust them. And yeah, no, honestly, I'm just exhausted.
night,
Dragonfly.
Duag.
This is fucked. This is honestly fucked.
Farewell, my nemesis.
How do you think my throat feels, Dean?
Sore. Doing that fucking accent the whole time. All right, see you, mate. See you,
I gotta go
DD.
pick up the kids from school and talk with the teacher and then get some slushy because it's so fucking hot. So I'll be back before the description of the next panel.
Yeah, definitely.
Drive
Who said
safely and
any
look
of you
out
were
for
allowed to
puddles.
leave?
Yeah, you're locked in here with me now.
Yeah, he's one of those people who thinks he's smarter than everybody else. He's probably a bit of a contrarian as well. You know, like he needs to disagree with you, otherwise he won't feel like he is the smartest person in the room.
Oh yeah, he's the kind of guy who
He's
says
probably
that his
insufferable.
taste in he's the kind of guy who says his taste in music is eclectic.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, I actually like eclectic stuff. I've been using eclectic remixes on my fucking YouTube streams. Is that a shot? You taking shots, Ellie? But
What?
anyway, yeah, those remixes are technically the genre that those remixes I use on half the streams. That genre is technically eclectic. For real.
That's
Yeah.
shut up.
No, for real.
Anyway, panel 5.
Yeah.
Now
As
we
do we all.
reverse our last panel so that we are outside the barred window in
Fuck
the
if I know,
corridor
Herschel.
and looking in through the
various,
window,
Basically.
which fills most of the panel, so
Right.
that we see the Batman and the Joker sitting facing each other across the table at the other end of the room, both full figure but not lit well enough to give away any facial details. We don't know who these men are. The Batman continues to talk calmly. So
Pretty sure
far,
we do. We bought the fucking comic.
I added that part. So,
Oh, okay.
Stop editorializing, woman.
There's enough words already, Ellie. You don't need to add anything more.
I'm just trying to make it more fun.
so far unrattled by the Joker's seeming oblivion to his presence, the Joker picks up
Exactly, Mo.
another card.
Preparing to lay it. The Batman.
Oh, do I get to do my Batman voice again?
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps you'll kill me. Perhaps I'll kill you. Perhaps sooner. Perhaps later. Even that, he says perhaps way too many times in that sentence. What the hell?
You know, Batsy, I'm beginning to think you're Australian and trying to hide it.
No. I'm Batman. I just wanted you to know.
I mean,
That
call me crazy.
No, I just wanted you to know. I just wanted to know that I made a genuine attempt to talk things over and avert that outcome just once. Because I'm Batman.
Page 15.
Yeah,
script.
perhaps. Exactly, Adam. What the fuck, right?
Because he's Batman.
Perhaps
He's the
I'm
type of
Batman.
guy who would get a job writing for The Simpsons and then try to push for more Lisa-centric episodes.
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
ouch. That's probably the deepest cut of them all.
A Batarang?
So-
He is Aussie. Yeah, you're right.
So, page 15 of script, panel 6.
That's fucked. We started at, like, what page did this page start on? It started on, like, page 12, didn't it? Or 13?
I don't
'Cause he's
remember.
been going about this card game. And he was real pedantic about where the Joker's putting cards. Like, seriously. This is micromanaging.
Panel 6.
We now have a shot of almost identical to panel 1, in that we are looking through the Joker's eyes. so
Yeah,
that we
okay, cool. If
can
it's identical to
only
panel 1, you don't need to describe it again, Alan. Please stop.
see his
he's
hands
laying down
as he
that card.
calmly and deliberately lays another card down upon one
Fucking
of the
hell.
rows. Looking across the table, we can see the Batman, and he looks as if he's gradually starting to grow irritated. I don't know why. He is leaning forwards, and we can see a little of the lower part of his face as the mouth starts to
Nope.
turn down into angry scowl. On
This is
the
another
tabletop,
time when the artist was like, "Nope, I'm not doing that."
his hands bunch into huge black fists. Small effects card being played, FNAP.
Yeah, that happened.
I
least.
play this card face down and end my turn.
You just fell for my trap card, Batman.
Panel 7. We are now up at the end of the table, looking down its length towards the wall at approximately the eye level of the men seated off panel to either side of it.
Nope.
All we
That's
can
not what they
see
did.
are their hands. One of Batman's hands suddenly whips into the picture and catches the Joker around one skinny white wrist before
Alan,
he can
you
draw
realize
his
this
arm
is still
back.
images, right?
Maybe the sudden movement disturbs a card so that it flutters through the air. Batman's black, gauntleted grip upon the bony wrist looks quite tight and quite painful. The Joker's fingers flutter open in alarm. Off the Batman.
Oh, yeah, I remember this. He's like, "Are you listening to me? It's life and death that I'm discussing here. Maybe my death, maybe yours."
Ellipses.
Oh, wait, that's the next
no.
panel. You got 20 minutes of description before that happens.
Yeah. You just have
Right.
maybe my death. Now I'm
Maybe
on panel
my
8.
death. Panel
Now
8.
panel 8. Now we are looking through the Batman's eyes. All we can see of him is his left hand, which has now released the Joker's wrists and is instead pointing meaningfully at the Joker across the table. The Joker, still leaning back in the shadows, nurses his tender wrist and glares at the Batman from the shadows. On
The
Batman's
artist is
black
like,
glove,
"Fuck you, I'm going to draw the right hand instead."
in the foreground, there is a smear of some thick, white, greasy substance that the Batman doesn't appear to have noticed yet, even though the reader can see the smear clearly off panel the Batman.
Maybe yours. I don't fully understand why ours should be such a fatal relationship,
You're
but I
not-
don't want your
oh.
murder on my hands. On
No.
my ...
Don't finish it. Because now we're page 4, panel 9, page 16 of script. Now we are looking at Batman very close up from the front so that we can see his chest and his raised hands and the
Nope.
lower half of his face.
No, we're not.
We cannot see his eyes or the rest of the upper part of his head. He is looking down at his gloves and at the thick white pancake make-up upon them, where he touched
G'day,
the
the gentleman, Mr. Crescent. Welcome.
His mouth starts to turn down into a suspicious scowl, even as his sentence trails off into silence. Small the Batman.
Yeah, none of that is what he drew at all. And then he goes, hands.
Yeah, this panel depicts him looking at the hand with the makeup on it.
Yeah,
Page
yeah.
5, panel 1.
Because Alan Moore did that thing where he thought it was a movie again and decided that, you know, Batman's hand could move in one panel when clearly it couldn't.
Herschel, is this motherfucker really writing 1 page per panel? If only. Only.
Honestly, it's pretty close. Yeah, like
We were
half the
talking
time
about
it's a little bit more
halcyon
than that
days of
even.
Alan Moore scripting.
Batman, dude, is that jizz? Ew, 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 ew.
Yeah, ew.
Oh, you're covered in rubber, Bruce. Calm down.
Page 5, which is page 16 of script, panel 1.
That is fucked.
He starts
time you
with-
say that, I realize how far through this we are. That is absolutely
Disgusting.
He starts with 7 panels on this page, perhaps with 3 small ones at the top, a big wide dramatic one in the middle, and 3 small ones again underneath that. See what looks est to you. In this first one, we are looking at the table end on from a couple of feet away so that we see both the protagonist,
That's
maybe
funny,
3/4 figure on either side of the table. The Batman is now standing and is reaching coldly and deliberately across the table without saying a word to grasp the front of the Joker's shirt or overall or
whatever people wear in Arkham. It says that. And slowly to haul the Joker forward into the circle of lamplight cast by the wall lamp. The Joker, unable to resist the relentless tug of the Batman's grip on his jacket front, looks nervous and taken aback as he's dragged forward into the light. Joker.
That's
Michael, that's your cue.
Hey.
Panel 2.
Dean James and Michael T, iconic Batman and Joker voice actors.
Panel
If this
2.
is actually the Joker, I'd take it more seriously.
Sure.
Same angle, but now we close in a little so that the Batman is largely off panel apart from his hands. We can see the
Everyone
Joker's
remembers
face
the
quite
Batman's
clearly
collapse.
as he's dragged into the light. The hair is green, the flesh is white, the lips are red, and the face is bony and lantern-jawed. But it isn't the Joker. The eyes aren't anywhere near crazy enough. Batman's black-gloved hand drags the imposter relentlessly forward, even as his other hand enters the picture and moves toward the Joker's face, fingers outstretched as if to stroke it. The Joker looks
Hey, T-Bunny.
understandably scared, shitless. Joker.
Hey, wait a minute. Don't you touch me. I got rights. You're not allowed to... ...
Page 5, panel 3.
That's fuck. No, we're not doing this. No. Finish your sentence, Michael.
No, he can't.
I can't. It's not on this panel.
Yeah. Black, but then he draws blue gloved hand. Yeah, exactly.
We are now looking through the Batman's eyes so that we can only see his hands and the phony Joker's face as it's dragged into the glare of the lamplight. The gloved hand that we saw reach a gun for the Joker's face last panel has now wiped its fingertips in a long smear down one side of the white face, down the cheek, and maybe down over one corner of the lips. The white grease paint comes off on the tips of Batman's gloves, revealing the perfectly ordinary pink skin beneath. The red lipstick is smudged down horribly over the chin like blood, as the leather glove wipes roughly across his. The fake Joker's eyes are open wide, the pupils tiny pinpricks of
Yep.
pregnant terror.
It's driving me insane, Herschel, not gonna lie.
Small Joker.
Touch me.
No! Why'd you say it like that?
Quit that shit, yo.
It is purple prose, Herschel.
It's terrible.
Now we're on panel 4.
Big panel.
It says big panel. Is it big?
Yeah, it takes up that whole spot with the...
Yeah, it's
freak
the
out
middle
panel
row,
must
yeah.
be.
For the first time, we see a good, clear shot of the
Damn, your mic
Batman's
went down
face
a lot.
as he lunges across the table and savagely drags the fake Joker out of his chair and across the table so that their faces are only inches apart. The Batman is a nightmare from hell, his teeth gritted in a terrible
stop?
and
When you said that, like,
furious.
their faces are only a few inches apart, that's where the description should end. I've got everything I need, thanks. How much more
Rage.
is there to go?
And his white eyes smoldering like a furnace. The black mass of his cape shifts about him with the sudden movement, and the cell dances with grotesque and deformed shadows as the two unearthly-looking creatures look face to face beneath the dim light. The phony Joker starts to scream in blind, mortal terror. The Batman.
Where is he?
No, look at those R's.
Oh,
You gotta
fine.
exercise.
Where is he?
Oh, God, no!
Oh my
That
god,
is not at
Wolvo.
all what we said, Wolvo. Fuck you. Now I need to hear. Ali, you have to say this is true lunacy. True lunacy.
This is
Read those.
true lunacy.
Roll that R.
Ali.
Okay. This is true lunacy.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how much would it irk you to edit this?
Depends on how much I'm getting paid.
She would just take the bound physical script, lay it on the ground, pull out an AK-47, and shoot the shit out of it.
No,
you know what? You
if
probably
I were-
still lose none of the story with all this rambling.
If I were getting, I'd have to be getting paid quite a bit. But if I were getting paid enough, I would just do it. Like, it'd be fine.
No, honestly, take the machine gun to it. After you're done, there will probably still be enough words in the correct order to have a cohesive comic script.
Jason's like, still, you have to understand why Alan Moore is so grumpy all the time. He puts all this work into writing, and that artist doesn't even put door handles on the car.
Yeah,
what a
goddamn
goof.
right. You go, artist.
Yeah,
Fight the
maybe
power.
Alan Moore has a point.
All right, panel 5. We're on page 17 of script.
Now the 3 small closing panels. In the first one in the sequence, we cut to just outside the cell door, to where Commissioner Gordon is waiting with the uniformed asylum security guard. Both the men look startled as they hear the sudden uproar issuing out through the barred windows in the cell door. Commissioner Gordon gestures urgently and impatiently that the guard should unlock the door, his face full of horror as he gazes at the door's blank facade. The security man looks startled and out of his depth here. The balloons belonging to the Batman and the pseudo-Joker issue out into the corridor through the barred window in the cell door here. Off the Batman.
You have to roll
I'm
down.
sorry. I like phased out entirely. Do you realize? Do you realize what you've set free? Where is he?
Ah! Get him off me!
Who's gonna be Gordon?
Dear God, he's gone berserk. Open that door, man.
Page
That's
5, panel 6. Now we're on page 18 of script.
Yeah, fuck this. When we get to the end of this scene, we're done.
You don't want to do all 39 pages of script?
I don't want to do all 39 pages, no.
I'm down.
20 minutes.
We'll be here for another fucking 3 hours. I would need a piss break to do that. I just want to get to the Joker.
Now we are back inside the cell. Over to the right of the extreme foreground, the Batman has dragged the fake Joker out from his chair by the tail. He spelled it T-L-E, T-A-L-E.
Of course he
And
did.
has dragged him across the room to slam him savagely up against the wall. We can see a little of the back of the Batman's cape hanging down in the right foreground, maybe, with one of the pseudo-Joker's terrified hands flailing out helplessly as he's pinioned to the wall by the great dark slab of mass and muscle, whose temper he has aroused. Looking past this, over in the
Stupid, sexy
background,
Batman.
we see that the door of the cell is now open again, and that Commissioner Gordon is running into the cell, shouting out to the Batman as he comes, his face tense and angry. The security guard follows a couple of paces
like that.
after him, looking, because I'm trying to have fun, looking
Oh,
extremely
Mo.
worried.
Hold on, Ellie. Mo, that 39 pages is only 12 pages of the comic. We don't know how long the full script was. The full script was probably 1,000 pages, honestly.
Wait, did he just
Also, yes, Herschel, yes.
Now it says Gordon.
Oh, right, I'm Gordon, right?
Sure.
That's this middle panel? Yeah?
Oh, where he says, okay, that's enough.
Yeah. Okay, that's enough. You know the laws regarding mistreatment of inmates as well as I do. If you harm one hair on his head...
Panel 7, final panel.
God
We
damn
have
it.
more or less the same shot as the last panel, except we've maybe closed in just fractionally. We still cannot see much of Batman, who is off the right panel border, and we can no longer see any of the helpless pseudo-Joker at all. All we see of Batman is one black-gloved hand reaching casually back into the picture from off-panel right and handing something to the stunned and bewildered Commissioner Gordon, who has stopped dead in his tracks to look at what the Batman is holding out for him to take. It is a bright green wig. It hangs from between Batman's black fingers like some huge and exotic lime-colored hairy spider.
God damn it, Ellen Moore.
Gordon's hands are starting to rise automatically to take the wig from Batman, even as he gapes at it in stunned and wide-eyed incomprehension. The Batman's balloons issue from off the Batman.
Commissioner, if you're concerned about it, take it. It's yours. Take care of it. Now, you whimpering little smear of slime, I'm going to ask you politely just one more time.
Page 6, panel 1, page
Where's Harvey
19 of script.
Where is he?
There are 5 panels on this page.
1, 2,
By the way.
3, 4, 5. Yeah, there's 5 panels on this page, all right.
We have changed scene to the grounds of an old and wretched, disused carnival on the outskirts of Gotham, even though we can't really see much of the carnival itself here. All we see here in the foreground are a pair of smartly tailored sleeves and a pair of gloved hands resting on the handle of a walking cane. The cane is walking. The hand, the sleeves, and the cane all belong to the Joker, who is standing just off panel to the right of the picture, maybe with just the front of his jacket showing. As to how he's attired, I'll leave that up to you.
Oh, thanks, Ellen. I appreciate that, mate.
I figure he should be dressed for outdoors on a November evening, maybe a long trench coat or something, but I'll leave the specifics up to you depending on what look you want to give him. It strikes me that the purple suit of the Joker's has been around for so long, even with the various stylistic additions made by people like Neil Adams and Marshall Rogers.
Oh, shut up.
Is almost amounts to a uniform, just like regular superheroes have. This seems a pity, since there's no real reason why the Joker shouldn't change his outfit occasionally at all. If you want, you could dress the Joker in something unlike anything he's ever been seen in before, and perhaps more in keeping with the black and nihilistic maniac that we're attempting to portray here. The Joker, as I see him, is a creature who has looked into the absolute pits of the human existence and has been driven to insanity by what he sees there. Maybe you could somehow dress him to reflect this, and also come up with a more stylish and startling visual approach at the same time.
It's one of
See what
those
you
walking
think.
canes, not those old-fashioned canes for sitting.
See what you think anyway, and if the old purple suit
G'day,
looks
Sherry.
best, then please
Sherry.
use it. Anyway, in the current panel, the Joker is more or less off panel, over
Oh,
on
God.
the right, standing motionless and staring at something off panel over on the left. Walking towards us from the background across a scrubby field of dark grass, edged in the far background by a copse of equally dark nighttime trees, we
Is
see a
this
man.
still just that first panel? What the fuck?
Yes, this is first
Yes,
panel.
we've changed scenes, so he has to describe the whole
Holy
goddamn scene.
fuck.
By a man of about 35, whose name is Mitchum. Mitchum is a seedy and criminal estate agent who specializes in property deals with the underworld. His father's name is David, and his mother's name is Jennifer.
You're kidding.
It
There's no
doesn't-
way that's
no.
fucking real.
No, I made that up.
Oh my god.
I wouldn't have been fucking surprised, honestly.
He too is dressed against the November chill as he walks across the grass, which is mostly mud and puddles and litter, towards the elegant figure.
He's like, yeah,
standing
no, I'm
off
just going to do
panel
black silhouetted grass. It's fine.
in the foreground and also towards us. He has his hands deep in the pocket of his car coat or whatever he's wearing, and his breath fogs on the November air. He attempts an uneasy smile of hopeful camaraderie directed at the off-panel figure in the foreground as he approaches him. Caption:
Where is he?
Mitchum.
That's you, Michael. I've got enough characters already.
Oh, there you are. We got a chance to inspect the property and decide if it's what you're looking for.
Page 6, panel 2.
God damn it.
We're on page
There's
20
so
of script.
much.
We're on page
Page
20 of
20
script.
of the script. That is fucked.
Now we have a bigger panel shot from behind the figures of the Joker and of Mitchum, who has now approached the Joker so that he's only a few paces away, slightly to the rear, but looking in the same direction that the Joker is looking. Once again, we can only see a back view of the Joker, just standing there over to the left of the panel, maybe even with his head once more off the panel border, depending what looks best. The important thing is that we don't see his face yet as he stares directly away from us. Meacham, over more to the right, is turning his head so that we can maybe see him in profile as he looks at the Joker with a sort of quizzical and crestfallen look, his smile dissipating into disappointment as he hears the Joker's opinion of his property. Said property is what we are looking at.
Oh, God damn it.
As we gaze between the figures, the two figures in the
Be
foreground,
back in an hour
we
when
see
this part's
the
done.
front
Yeah, I
of
figured
the
it
ruined...
out though. Alan Moore, right? He wanted it to be impossible for anyone to critique or edit his work. Like think about it. We planned on doing what we did with Kelly Sue DeConnick's comic and going back and forth and saying how you could improve it and things like that. But he's wearing us down. He's just talking and talking and talking to the point where we're all falling asleep. And then we can't critique him because we have no idea what he's fucking talking about anymore.
I'm not falling asleep.
The man's a mad genius.
Oh my God, he's gotten to you. You're his Harley.
Go on, describe this fucking thing for another page and a half.
We see the front of the ruined and abandoned amusement park / funfest / carnival or whatever, with its open-fronted stalls and its side shows, and its peeling posters and paintwork, and its lonely little clusters of coin-operated amusement arcade machines. I don't really care what you show here, so long as we get a good atmospheric introductory shot of this grotesque and evil-looking run-down carnival. It looks dirty and dark and sordid and gaunted. Loose sheets of damp and semi-rotted tarpaulin. Oh my God, who says tarpaulin? Flapping mournfully from some
Put some respect
of the
on that word.
stalls and rides, since we need to see both a laughing sailor machine and a poster advertising the freak show in fairly close proximity to each other in our next but one panel. Maybe you could introduce them by squeezing them into the background here, just to give a hit of solid visual continuity. The odd leaf blows past, and as I should have pointed out last panel, it is still raining.
Fuck you, no leaf.
Although, perhaps a little less, so that when we saw Batman arriving at the asylum on page 1, it looks grim and windswept and derelict. Joker.
Well, it's garish, ugly, and derelicts have used it for a toilet. The rides are dilapidated to the point of being lethal and can easily maim or kill innocent little children. Oh, so you don't like it?
Panel 3. We're going into page 21 of script, just so you know.
Oh.
This is page 5, I think, of comic. Page 20.
I can't quite tell. Dean's away right now, and he has to scroll down now.
Dean is away. Some person, I don't care what you draw here. I'm just going to wank on the page for you to see. All right. Panel 3. Dean, we're going into page 21 of script.
Holy shit.
Now we have our first close-up of the Joker's face. He looks out of the panel, staring at the off-panel ruin of the carnival, and he smiles, wrinkles creasing the white flesh around his cold, dead, malicious eyes, and around the bloody slash of his distended and smiling lips. His bilious green hair blows in the night breeze, and he looks so delighted that he could almost be in love.
Looking over the Joker's shoulder, we can perhaps see a glimpse of Mitchum as he looks on at the Joker nervously and uneasily from the near background. Incidentally, I should have mentioned somewhere in my description on the previous 2 panels that the Joker has a hat with him. Maybe a slouch hat, or maybe something more unconventional. He isn't wearing it, but he carries it with him as he walks around on his inspection of the carnival. Sorry, I forgot about it. Here we see his green hair blowing like seaweed in the breeze as he smiles a deathly and hideous smile out of the panel at us. Joker.
Don't like it? I'm crazy for it.
Fantastic.
Dragon Pisces. A face reveal of Joker with him smiling. Done.
Yeah, legit. That's all you needed. But anyway, I've got
perhaps
something
a
to share with
jaunty
you
hat
guys.
he can take to the fair.
What? Yeah, look what Jason just did. Made me laugh.
What did,
Yeah, I saw that.
did Jason make a painting while we were doing this? Oh.
No, look, I'm sharing screen. He's like, I had no idea. I don't know how you did it. I'm so very sorry to Brian Poland.
Aw.
That's the artist, Ellie, in case you forgot.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, yeah.
So Mo says, sorry, I forgot to mention the Joker must be carrying a hat. I was distracted by Puddle.
Yeah, that does sound like Ellen Moore.
All right. Now we're into panel 4.
There is one more panel left on the page. Yeah.
God damn it.
We get through that, we can call it a night.
Yeah, the
I'm
reveal
okay
of
with-
the Joker.
I'm okay with keeping going, but it's up to you guys, I guess.
No, this is the perfect place to end it because it's like the Joker appears.
Okay.
And either way, we still
you
got another
ready?
hour of panel descriptions. So
Now, if this composition works out okay, we have changed angle and
Probably
pulled
won't.
back from the Joker slightly, seeing him here as he walks amongst the various soiled and semi-rotted edifices that make up the disused amusement park. In the bottom foreground, just as an incidental detail here, we have a dusty glass case containing one of those awful laughing sailor figurines. Its rosy papier-mâché cheeks starting to peel and rot, one eye already caved in completely and stains on its little blue uniform. Looking beyond this, we see maybe a 3/4 length shot of the Joker and Mitchum as the pair wander through the fun fair, with Mitchum following nervously behind the disturbing and grotesque white-faced figure, anxiously trying to finalize the details of the purchase. The Joker, as he stands here, is facing slightly away from us. He has his cane under his arm and his hat in his gloved hands, and he is looking up at a torn and ancient old freak show poster up on a display by one of the booths over in the background. Although we cannot see it too clearly here, maybe one of the main attractions featured on the poster is a fat lady. There is a picture of her, obese and mountainous, seated on a stool, with the legend, "See the fat lady," at the top, and "Gals, be glad it ain't you," lettered along the bottom, under the picture. Like I say, this won't be terribly clear and visible here, I don't suppose, but the Joker is positioned so that he's standing almost directly between us and the poster as he gazes at it, holding his hat in his hands and still smiling a smile of reptilian satisfaction, not looking at Mitchum as he makes his reply. In the foreground, the leprous smile of the sailor echoes that on the Joker's face as it stares out of its page 22 cobwebbed and dirty case. Mitchum.
wow.
You really want to buy it? And the price I mentioned, it isn't too steep. Too steep, my dear sir. As I look at it, I'm making a killing.
Huh.
And I wanted to ask you, Mitchum, what do you think that stool's made of?
I want to see
What?
the panel. The stool that the fat lady's sitting on. That's the panel that I just read. Oh fucking hell.
No, you actually read the panel before that. He drew the fat lady in a different panel.
Yeah.
And And I can't see the bottom of this. Oh,
Panel
deep.
5.
For this final panel, we close in from our last shot until we can just see a little of the Joker's midsection as he stands over towards the right of the panel, looking slightly away from us towards the poster, with his hat visible clasped in his hands in front of him. Looking beyond his decapitated figure, we can see the poster, with the figure of the seated fat lady over to the left, and the legends quoted above, "See the fat lady, and gals be glad it ain't you." Off-panel Joker.
And anyway, money isn't really a problem. Not these days.
Page 7.
Nope.
Nope. The end.
What?
We are not starting another scene. And that's
This is
the
where the
tale of how
artist
Joker
clearly
bought a
said-
carnival.
This is where the artist clearly said, fucking finally I get to draw the Joker.
Yeah, right?
The puddle of cum is most exquisite, as it is full of my sperm, and the taste of my own DNA is most scrumptious.
Says
Also,
Dragon.
draw a picture of
Somebody
Gail
clip
Simone.
Oh gosh.
Amazing.
So yeah, that was fun.
So yeah, we can finish. Everyone who's still here right now, let us know. Do you want us to do the rest of it like next time?
I'm willing to.
I'm willing to. We can do it again like tomorrow or the next day.
You guys
Sometime
aren't even doing most of the work.
Ellie, I'm controlling
Goddamn
the whole
right.
thing.
Mm-hmm.
Mo says, sure, why not? To be continued. Yes.
Oh, and if we do it tomorrow, I can
It's like,
actually.
no, please, God, no.
If we do it tomorrow night, I can be louder because the child will be gone.
Right. Well,
I'm gonna use this
She's
whole
going to
stream.
turn that back in.
Yeah. We shall continue tomorrow then.
I'm gonna use this whole stream on my my voice acting like thing.
Yeah, Bellin did
reel.
do all of the work basically, because it was a slog
did.
to get through that. Like, imagine that being your job, and you're like, I just wanted to draw cool pictures, man. Like, what the fuck?
Well, and it's
Seriously.
page 7 into the comic, but page 22 into the script.
So we have like another 20 pages of script to go. Yeah, we can do this again tomorrow. We'll do another 3-hour stream tomorrow.
Allie will become Alan Moore from reading this. That's not even what he sounds like. I thought he was American.
No, that's how Alan Moore reproduces, because he's a weird wizard monk thing.
Allie Moore. Oh God.
Allie Moore. Of what? What's Om King? Batcat.
I don't
Tom
know.
King. You saying Tom King?
Oh, Tom
No.
King.
No, I hate Tom King. I don't own any of his comics.
I
And
mean,
won't
I
even
have-
pirate them.
I have access to
Is that the one where
many
Batman cries when he
scripts.
gets a chroma pussy?
Yeah, that's him. Yeah.
Lol, I like how you guys are like, sure, I'm down to destroy Allie's larynx. Why not? No, I'm fine. My throat is actually fine. I know how to do things without hurting it.
King has no T. Got it.
Yeah. Those
Ha.
Oh right, yeah. That's clever. That's clever. But yeah, the more jokes in the chat absolutely killed me. For real. Like, you guys were hilarious the whole night.
I hope that he was watching, because fuck him. And he's the
Who,
kind of
Alan
guy
Moore?
who would watch this. Yeah.
No, he doesn't even have a TV or a computer or anything. He's against technology.
Oh. Well, I guess we agree
Yeah.
on one thing.
Yeah, I guess.
No, I was a singer for a long time, Dying Days. So like I'm fine.
Right, okay.
When I saw reading Alan Moore's real script for The Killing Joke, I thought this was going to be the good one.
Yeah, I'm sorry this happened to you, Jason. He might still be watching using a crystal ball. This is true.
What a douche.
Oh, he's pondering an orb.
We should send this stream to him, because honestly, the man needs to learn how to edit himself.
Oh my god. He probably has a freaking Palantir
I don't even know what that is.
That's the orb in Lord of the Rings
from Lord of the Rings.
that Saruman had.
Oh, right, yeah, okay. I thought this
The
stream would be
lost
about
seeing
30 minutes. Well,
stones.
that's your mistake, awesome one.
What's wrong with 3 hours?
Nothing. We're gonna do it again tomorrow, right?
What is
I'm good
tomorrow?
to go.
We will finish this again tomorrow. To be continued, my friends. Until next time. Find out if the Joker opens a successful carnival or if all his dreams turn into a sad puddle on the floor.
Wait, does anyone know where we can get the full script so that we have the next year of streams planned out?
Yeah, the rest of the script is written in feces on Alan Moore's wall.
Jake would, oh my god, Jake would not go on to read anything.
Right.
Yep.
Puddle of tears and cum. Just the way Alan
Take
Moore
it all
liked.
away. Can you take it all away?
You can see. Shut the fuck up, Michael.
You're welcome.
You can see like Joker
Jacob.
looks even more in pain to be watching this than. Oh my god! I actually can't talk. Like I can't talk right now.
Yep.
Joker looked like he was in as much pain as the artist probably was. Like the artist is actually looking through Joker's eyes in that panel. He's like insane now.
Yeah, no doubt. But either way, thanks for joining us, everyone. Please like the video and subscribe if you haven't already, but you probably have.
And share this around. Share this.
Yeah.
So
This
that
is
we
part
can
one.
we can all delight in this.
And I will schedule part 2 in a few minutes when I've closed all this down so that I can't, like drop out and say that we're not doing it. Like if I've scheduled it, it just kind of has to be done, right? So I'll check the schedule out at the same time tomorrow. Okay?
Do we need more voice actors or is this good?
No, it's funnier if all the
Commissioner
voices.
Gordon if he'd get in here.
Okay, because there's a chick coming next whose name is Jeannie.
Oh,
And
yeah, I can do the chick Genie.
And a young man also.
I mean, I'm probably bullshitting
some
for the
wife.
young man.
There's a baby.
A baby that talks?
I don't know.
Okay. Well, we'll figure that out on the fly as we do it. If we need to, we can grab like Reenie and Jake and that. We'll do that if we have to. And Wolvo can join us. Wolvo could probably do a great Commissioner Gordon. Wolvo, are you still there in the chat? Let us know if you can do Commissioner Gordon. Either way.
He probably could do a really good Commissioner Gordon too.
Probably, yeah. I appreciate you.
Oh my
guys
god.
doing this.
But Dean, I just want to tell you.
What?
They get to page 29 and he is finally finalizing the sale of the carnival.
Are you kidding me?
No.
Holy fuck. Okay, so we've got 10 pages of buying a carnival and then
No. No, in between there's like some other stuff with like this chick and her
scene.
husband. Yeah,
Oh,
there's
right,
another
okay.
scene going on. But you don't
Okay.
get to. No, Rainey won't do a voice.
Okay. Anyway, that's for tomorrow's stream. So, yeah, remember to hit that notification and stuff. I'll be back for part 2. And then, we can try and find the rest of the script. But I don't, as I said, I think the only place it exists is on Alan Moore's wall.
In a puddle that he saw.
Yeah,
Made
in a
of
puddle.
poop.
Made of poop. Poop and cum. And beard hair. Either way, thanks for joining us, guys. I'm going to end this stream now because I have dinner waiting for me. And then we will do this again in 24 plus 3, 27 hours.
Yay.
See you then. No, wait, it's -3. It's 21 hours. I will see you in 21 hours.
Good night, everyone.
Or was it 20? It's 21 hours. Yeah, it's 21
Sharing
hours. Good
is
night,
caring,
everyone.
and sharing is free.
Right.